Yeah, TikTok was hating on the yams, man. We back. We back. We back. All right. All right. All right.
Test,
It's better.
test. Yeah, seems to be fixed.
How
It's
do y'all feel?
bad.
Y'all still hear an echo?
No.
Nah, it looks to be gone now.
All right. Cool. All right. Because racism still exists in 2024, Elliot. Black oppression still exists in 2024, Elliot.
Okay, but sorry if you hear my dog in the background. Um, but again, I'm just hooked on this point of you're saying it's unethical, and I just don't get where that's coming from. Like
And I have
I'm
a
just
feeling.
confused.
I have a feeling that you're not just asking that because you want to genuinely know. The way that you're phrasing the question is that if I were to give you a good reason as to why it is unethical, you're already defending it
Are
like,
you trying to defend somebody?
right, you know what I'm saying? Like he's like, what do you mean it is unethical? Like, and then trying to pose like he's asking a genuine question, like, what do you mean by it's unethical? Please let me
Well,
know. Like,
I'm telling
educate
you,
me.
I
Like,
believe that they're ethical. I'm telling you that's what I believe. So I
all
went
right,
to the
exactly. So then why don't you tell us why you think it's ethical instead of acting like you are coming from some neutral space, and we can tell that you clearly feel some type of way. So go ahead
okay,
and tell us what you feel.
so I never said I was neutral, right? I have bias. We all have biases. So just to put that out there, right?
But do
Um,
you have bias based? It is your
can I
is
talk for a
your
second?
notion based in logic? It's my live. I'll talk to you if I want to. Your notion, is it based on a book you read, on any scholar or lecture you can tell us about? Like, please cite your sources if you're going to have a bias. Like,
So
if not, and it's just based on anecdote and individualism, then I'm telling you right now, you may as well just drop.
say that again.
If you cannot cite your sources, and what you are about to impart onto us in this discussion is based in individualism and anecdote. Anecdote means just subjective evidence in your personal life. If that is what you're going to use to qualify you saying that it is ethical, you might as well drop.
So I don't know how to say that I believe that black people and white people are equal and that marriages between them should be allowed. I don't know how to like say that in a way that
Okay, no,
makes
but cite your
reasonable.
sources.
What
Who told
sense?
you? Who told you black and white people were equal? First of all, let's start there.
What?
When did the equality begin?
That's a loaded question, right? Because I think as people we have always been equal, right? But as a society we haven't been equal in a societal regard. So those are two that's a question with multiple answers depending on where you're coming from. So that's a loaded question.
So you're telling me if a man points a pew pew to your head,
Hmm.
that in that moment the two of you are equal?
I'm not gonna say that, right? But we have equal
No,
value,
no, no. But
yes.
in society, that person could pull the rigger. You know what I'm
They
saying?
could,
But
yes, but we're still
But
humans and we're
but
still equal.
but you're still human in that moment, even
We're
though a
still
person still
human
has
and
a
we're
pew pew
still
to your head.
equal. Yes, we're still human and we're still equal. Yes.
All right, all right. Have a nice day. This guy's an idiot. I'm sorry. I don't have today's not the day, y'all. I don't have the patience. Stella, you already know what to do. I don't have the patience today. I don't have the patience today. That was the most ignorant thing I've ever heard someone say. Someone just came up here and said that if someone has a pew pew to your head, that y'all are still equal.
Yeah, the black and white people are equal. Is that's just the most asinine statement. Like, yeah,
Then what are
you
we
are
marching
tripping,
for?
bro.
What was Black Lives Matter about? Like, what? Why did we need to march if we was equal? Y'all, we've been equal the whole time. Wait, hold
Oh
on.
my
I didn't even.
God.
You know what? Yo, Ashley, let's play into it. We've been equal the whole time, y'all. We've been liberated this whole time. We was equal. Hey, we equal. Actually, I was about to put the fist up. We don't even need black
We only
power
need
no
it's
more.
just a hand. It's just a hand.
Yeah, it's just a hand now. I'm gonna just wave high. We equal, y'all. We
Oh
all
my
equal
God.
now. Come on, man. Get out of here, man.
I missed that meeting.
I definitely missed that meeting. All right, I'm gonna go to the next guest. Social something. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
My name is what? My name? My name is Social
I didn't.
Distributism.
I didn't
I
say
go
your
by
name.
he
I said
him.
your age, race, and
I'm
pronouns.
18 and I'm white.
All right, talk to us.
So I just understand the point of view from your topic here. Do you mean that? What is your thought on it? Because then I'll respond to it. I just don't understand what you mean by that.
I don't answer questions. I ask them. So why don't
Okay.
you tell us your thought on it?
So my opinion is you can marry whoever you want. It doesn't matter.
And who came up with or actually, when has it ever been beneficial to non-white people that white people feel they can do whatever they want?
Well, if you go back in history and you go to North Africa, when Europeans and Africans in North Africa started marrying and whatever, I don't really think they saw the benefit. I think they just married people because they found love.
And is Africa a North African indigenous word?
Sorry? Repeat that? I couldn't hear that.
Where did the name Africa come from?
All right, so I'm not discussing any other terms. I'm just discussing the topic that you're bringing up here.
No,
So
I
I'm
mean
just
you
giving you
brought
an
up you
example.
brought up North African people. So my question was, you said that they didn't see the benefits, but they just married people because they were people. And I'm just trying to say,
No.
do
They married them
Can I
and they
ask
had
him a
kids with them.
question? Can I ask him a question? And
Yeah,
then so you said, but so then once France found out that was happening, what did they then do?
France.
What
I'm
did they
talking.
then? What
I'm
did
talking
they
about
then
thousands
do?
of years of history here, not
Sure, and
in the
so am I.
last.
So am I. Because once they found out that they were marrying the African women, they enacted code noirs. Huh? Huh? I'm an African American studies major. So if you're gonna state these facts, make sure you state the whole fact.
Yeah. No.
The whole fact, the whole fact, the whole
Okay.
fact, because you're
One
right,
thing
they
we need to
were just
stop doing
marrying who
here
they want.
is bringing
But
in
once France
colonialism.
found out, they put a stop to it. So don't say that because it's disingenuous and you up here lying. I hate when y'all do that. Stop lying. If you're gonna state a fact, you have to state the whole thing. You can't give bits and pieces of a story. Then your story is baseless and it has holes in it.
all right, Sister Ty.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm
What
out.
I'm trying to tell you here is that we need to start bringing colonialism because
And I
the
just
plagues
told you
that we're
what
trying to argue here.
Hold on,
colonialism
hold on, hold
did
on.
and
Ty.
what the leaders did once they found out that white men were marrying African women. And they enacted code noirs to ensure that African women could stop inheriting the wealth of their white husbands. Because white men in maritime were unaliving at high rates because of the conditions of the waters, which meant that African women were in turn inheriting their wealth, and they could not have that.
Mm,
So they stopped it. Stop playing in here. Y'all love
I,
to rewrite history, and I'm not going to allow it as a studying historian. You're not going to sit up here and play in my face, sir. I don't
thank
like
you.
that type of stuff. It's disrespectful.
We don't like it either, sister.
Thank you for that.
I heard that. Listen, one thing you're not going to do is play with the most well-educated demographic on earth. Y'all not going to play with them. Y'all are not going to play with the most intelligent, intellectual, scholarly demographic on the planet Earth. the black woman. Listen, they will come up here and correct y'all. My platform is supported by thousands of black women across the world, and we've also have a Discord with 920 people, most of which over 70% of which are black women. So just know that when I speak, it is not just from the research that I have done, but also the research that's been shared to me by black women. Um, I'm gonna go to the next guest in a moment, y'all. We gotta keep tapping like. We lost all our likes because we restarted, so just keep tapping like. And also, I just want to just put this warning out there. We usually host this live as an interview, not a debate. So um, there will be some correction when needed, but this live is mostly to ask questions. So white tea folks, you can feel free to come up here and answer some of our questions if you want. However, do not feel welcome to come up here and try to tell black people what they should believe or what we should do. That starts to get into,
Yeah,
you
white
know.
boy, come up here. What we're not gonna do is, bruh,
Right.
get out of here,
Yeah.
dude.
Don't take that tone with us. Don't take that tone with us. All right. Brandon, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
I was up here earlier.
Same dude.
Oh, okay. Captain Save Us, no. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Hmm?
Come on. It's your
You're
turn.
talking to me?
Yeah, you up here to
I
say
was up
bunnies,
here
right?
earlier. I was. Do I need to do it
He
again?
said, yeah.
I know I needed to do it again.
All right, go ahead and talk to us, man. I know a bunny waiting in that audience to hear you speak. Go ahead.
No, but I was just wanted to come back up here because you were talking about 2020, whatever BLM stuff like that. But I just wanted to defend myself a little bit, right? Because I was on the streets protesting during those riots, right? I was on the front lines.
Why
I'm in
was
a
you in the
major
front
city.
lines of that?
What do you mean? Why was I?
What
Because I think
what
we
what what good did that do your people that you would be on the front lines to dismantle something like racism?
to help us and help better our standing in this country, to help propel Black people forward, help get them jobs, better housing, better working conditions,
And,
education.
and how has interracial marriage done that? Even just give me just one little percent. How?
I think, how are you connecting those things?
You just said that you were protesting because of the advancement of black people. Your
Yes.
defense is in interracial marriage being ethical. So how has interracial marriage helped black people do any of those things that you just listed?
Well, I think if you have a Black person who loves someone, I think it's in their best interest to pursue that, no matter the race of the person. If that's something that would make them happy and we want Black people to be happy, then they should be able to pursue marriage with whoever they want.
Even if that person is the member of a dominant society in which inflicting all of the things that you just said in a negative for black people.
Um, I'm not picking up what you're putting down. Say that again.
That's
Explain
because
that.
you're in defense of white women. You
No,
We
said
know that.
you said
can I
that you're trying to advance the black race, and you're saying interracial relationships should be encouraged because black people should love
I
who they want
didn't say
to.
encouraged, right? That's not I didn't use that word.
You're in defense of interracial relationships because you said that black people should have the right to choose. Basically, is what you said. Even if that's choosing a person that is a member of the dominant society, inflicting in the negative that in which you all said. Even if that person is a member of that society and they will do nothing but uphold all of that negative. So
Well, sure, right? Because I think white people can be allies, the same way I think men can be
Oh,
allies to
oh
women,
my
the
lord.
same way that I think straight people can be
hey,
allies.
bunnies! I know y'all waiting for him. I know y'all waiting.
I'm dating a
It's
Black
some
woman,
bunny
just so
hunters
you
down
know
there
that,
right
okay? I'm
now.
dating a Black woman. I'm dating a
I'm gonna
Black woman,
pray. I'm
just
gonna
so you
pray for
know
her,
that.
brother. I'm gonna pray for her.
Yeah, you
Just
need
so
to
you
pray
know
for.
that.
Hey, man, it is not a flex to say you are dating a black woman when you up here caping for
No, but you
bunnies.
calling me a
It
snow
is
bunny
not a
protector,
flex.
but
I
I'm
can't
dating a Black
imagine
woman, man.
being with a
Like,
black woman and coming up here. arguing with black people about why it should be okay to have a white woman and you got a black
I'm
woman at
saying
home.
people should be
Brother,
able to love
I know
whoever they
she don't know
want.
you up here talking like this. I know she don't know.
I would tell her to. I would tell her myself, right? I would
Go
tell her
tell her.
right now.
Go tell her and
I'll
record it.
text her right now,
Please send me
right?
that video.
The
I
point
need
I'm
no, no,
making
no. Don't
is,
text it. Don't text it. You gotta make a video. I need to see her face.
people should be able to love whoever they want, right? That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Did anyone say someone can't?
You're saying it's unethical for white people to marry black people.
And
Are you not?
you think something has to be ethical for it to be a right.
So if you're saying that, so then what's the point of ethics, right? If you're not like what are you trying to say then? If you're saying that it's okay for black people and white people
Is
to get
mass
married, but
incarceration
it's still
ethical?
no, it's not. But what does marriage have to do with that?
But is it a right? Does the government have the right to throw black people in jail?
The government has the right to throw anyone in jail,
All right.
based on
So
certain conditions.
just because someone says that you have a right to do something, don't make it ethical, right?
Well,
So when I say
sure,
something
right?
is
But again, my
unethical,
my
so when I
point
say
is,
something is unethical, that doesn't mean I'm not saying they don't have a right to do something, right?
but again, you're the sure, right? Sure, I will
Like
concede
that's the
that,
problem.
right?
The problem is that
But
you don't know what we mean, and you're still trying to defend.
well,
You
then
should have stayed in the
explain what you
comments.
mean.
You should have stayed in the comments until you figured out what this live was really about.
I've been trying
But
to,
you hopped
right?
up. No, you didn't. You hopped up
I've
here so
asked you guys
fast.
questions.
But you could have stayed in the comments
I'm
and
trying to
figured
ask
it
you
out.
questions.
This whole live is asking questions.
So
That's
then
all
what
we up
makes it
here doing.
unethical? That's my question. What makes it unethical?
Find out in the comments. Have a nice
What?
day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because he don't even know what we talking about. He don't even know what we talking about. And he's up here defensive already. Now, if he came up here strictly curious, just wanted to know, then cool. But he already had this defense set up, and he's asking because he feels like this question shouldn't even be a question. Anyone that feels like this shouldn't be a question, tell me when this should have been a question. When should that? When should? Or should we never? Should we never question this? If I wanted to question if the sky was blue or the Earth was flat, y'all be fine with that because I know how the internet get down. Some of y'all think the Earth is flat, but for some reason I can't question something is ethical or not during my people's oppression, during the oppression of my people. Some of y'all think black and white are two terms that would continue to exist after racism is no more,
Facts.
which puzzles me. Which puzzles me. Because
Clark.
as long as there is a people called black, and as long as there is a people called white, there is a social dynamic at play. And as long as that social dynamic benefits one and oppresses the other, then there's going to be a problem with ethics. And this is a question we should at least be able to ask. If you can't understand that, then you're not in the right place, brother. Go somewhere.
Facts. Clock how he had to tokenize his imaginary black girlfriend. Like black women, do you honestly believe he got a black girlfriend? Let's be for real.
Man, he got a black couch he sleep on. He got a black pillow in his bed. That's about it. Yo, man, come on now. All right, son of Judah, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
I'm 38, male, black, and like I do have a daughter with a white tea person.
Sorry to hear that.
And sorry, like
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear
I
that.
don't that I have a daughter,
No,
or
having a
that
daughter
I
is
had it, or having it with a white tea person.
yeah. That I'm sorry to hear.
No, because like I'm an Israelite, so like they're
Oh,
like
okay.
because how we believe is like my bloodline is through me, not the mother.
Nah, you can't be an Israelite because if you was an Israelite,
No,
then what you did to make that child is a sin.
that was before I became an Israelite, so that does not matter.
Well, why are you
Everything
defending it then? because then
No,
you would have
I'm not
said it was an
defending.
abomination.
I'm not defending anything. But if somebody defines happiness with anybody, like I don't care. Like if a white man or a white T person falls in love with a black T person, or a white T woman falls in love with a black LK man, like why should I discourage that? Like why should I fight that?
He lying. He lying to me. He had to go because he lying. That's the only thing. Don't come up here lying. You are not you are not an Israelite. Don't come up here lying to me. That's not what Israelites believe. That is not what Israelites believe. Israelites are more firm on this stance than any other religion I even know about. Even the Rastafarians kind of, open it up to dabble a little bit in the
Yeah,
milk. You
yeah,
know what
he
I'm saying?
kept. He kept.
He cabin. They call them the children of Esau.
Yeah,
They not they don't they
they
look
don't
at
play the
that like,
radio.
yeah, they look at that like pork. So that's nah, man. The Hebrew Israelites, they don't play about that. And I don't agree with their justification for it, but you know what I'm saying, because I'm not a follower of that faith. But
What's up, host?
all right, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Sure. My name's Austin. I'm white, 30 years old. I'm a guy, he, him. Um, and I was just listening to y'all talk and whatnot. And I think it's a really interesting kind of debate. I don't know if we're debating, but
No, we're just asking questions. We want to learn what you think.
I think as far as ethics go, I think it's fine. I think ethics are more like, should you steal? Should you murder? Should you cheat on your spouse? I don't think that the race thing falls into the ethical sphere. So I don't think it is unethical. You're going to have some problems, of course. You're going to cause a lot of problems marrying outside your race. I will say that, but I don't think it's unethical.
So, do you think that something that is unethical avoids harm? Like would you said, like cheating on your spouse. Do you think that's harmful to your spouse?
Of course, 100%.
Is that harm what makes it unethical?
Well, it's unethical because it's from the Ten Commandments, and it's just passed down knowledge. Everybody knows you're not to cheat on your spouse because it's bad for everybody. And so I could see, if we want to make the kind of argument, like dating outside or marrying outside your race could kind of mess up the family dynamic, which it can, but I don't think that there's like an ethical breach. I suppose if you want to take in consideration of your family, maybe you're not doing what your family wants to do, if you consider that unethical, but like disobeying your family. Does that make sense?
Uh, I don't know what you mean, but
Okay.
yeah.
To
So
gather my thoughts more, I'll come back up later.
okay,
But anyways, yeah, thanks for having me up. I hadn't
all
really
right.
thought about this too much, but I was just trying to give an argument. Thanks for having me.
Do you think that?
Oh,
Do you think? I'm sorry. I have a question.
okay.
Do you think that the idea of race is unethical?
The idea of race is unethical.
Yeah. Do you think that categorizing people as black and white is unethical?
I think people are going to form tribes no matter what.
He asked you what you thought, though. You
So
keyword
no,
you.
it's not unethical. This is what happens. It's not even an ethical question. It's just what happens. It's not about ethics, I think.
Do you believe that race is the same thing as just forming tribes?
It's really sticky. Like do I think race is the same thing as forming tribes?
Yeah, because you just made it sound like, there's some people like the Cowboys, some people like the Packers.
Yeah,
People are just going to do that. Like, do you think race is just as harmless as tribalism for, a football team, or tribalism
it's
because,
definitely more
I speak this
significant.
language?
Oh yeah, more. Yeah, I mean, there's different community. Like there's the black community in America. I'm from America, and there's a white community, and there's just different
What's the difference
communities.
between the black community and the white community?
Just guys are just we're just different. Just a different
I mean,
culture, people.
the difference between the Packers and the Cowboys is, some people like the Packers and they wear green and yellow, and some people like the Cowboys, they wear silver and blue. But
Yeah, and if I'm a
you
Packers
know,
fans, I can still get along with the Cowboys fans, but you know,
right? Yeah. So, what's the difference between black and white Americans if they're both American? What is the difference in their experience? What makes it different?
I mean that's a good question. It's I guess your experience of life, living here. You know, obviously the history of the United States and people go through life in different cultures. You know, I'm white, so I grew up in a white family, and you guys are black. You grew up in a black family. There's different things, and
But what is the difference between growing up in a white family and growing up in a black family? What difference would there be? Because they're both in the same country. So
well, I mean, just how it is different to be growing up being a white person in L.A. versus being a white person in New Jersey. You know, there's just different.
but if a white person and a black person are both from LA, you're saying that there's no difference between black and white?
I'm not sure, man. I'm not
Because
really
there's black and white communities both
Hey,
in the same
Brother
state.
Legend, not to cut you off, but I have a very serious question that rattles my brain very often. So, Austin, let me ask this to you since you said it's ethical and you don't see the reason and why it's not ethical. So, if there was a law put in place here in America that stated once you marry a black person, if you're white T, you then have to classify yourself as black and accept the same treatment as black people in this country, would you still do it?
So, can you repeat that?
You heard what I just said. Come on. I'm talking loud and
All
clear
right,
on
I'll
the
try to
AirPod.
repeat it. So if I married a black
So
girl,
so let me say it for you one more time. And this time listen with intent,
okay, I'm listening. I'm
please.
listening.
Listen with intent,
I'm
please.
listening.
Okay? So if America imposed a law that for all white people who decide to marry black people, they would then have to classify as black on all documentation and move through American society as a black person, would you then do it still?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I would do in that situation.
So would you rather be black or white in this society? Let me just pose the flat out question. Let's say the quiet part out loud.
I mean, I don't know. I only know being white. I don't know how I could. I don't know how I could answer your question other than say white because I don't know what it's like.
So essentially,
If I could be
let's just
somehow
be
born and
honest
have
because
two lives, then I could evaluate it.
you guys love to dance around and beat around the bush and y'all like to play these games, but you can't play these games with me. So the answer is no, which is why you're flailing and you're saying, well, I don't know, I don't know, I don't
No, I
know, I don't
don't.
know, I don't know. You do know
I can't.
because you see the treatment of black people in this country, which is why you want to give me a synopsis on why you don't know. I don't need your synopsis.
I
I
mean,
know the truth. You
I feel like
wouldn't.
you're kind of like attacking me right now, and I think you're kind of rude.
Very microaggression, which is a
on,
prime
bro.
Can you just say
example
it a bit
of
nicer? Like I don't know.
YT
Like I'm not trying to
fragility.
like.
I don't have to say anything nicely to you. You are a cishet YT male.
Hey,
YT
calm
man in
down, calm
American
down. Hey,
society.
did your mother teach you to be
Everything
this
is
rude?
made
Are you just
comfortable for you, sir. This society was built for you. No matter where you go, you will always be the dominant. Stop playing with me up in here.
You going? You going? Thank you, sister. Yo, that was
I always wanted
hilarious.
to ask them that question though, because it's a real question. Because back to the
That's a good
point that the
question.
white T man came up here and tried to make earlier about the African women and white T men from Europe marrying. Not
Mm-hmm.
only did they enact code noirs to ensure that the Black women and their children would then also have to be classified underneath the mother. Because if they did not do that, then you would then see a bunch of biracial men as enslavers. And that would not give them the right power dynamics that they were looking for.
Thank you
Wow.
for that, sister. Really notice how his brain, I don't know if he did this on purpose, he just refuses to make the connections. I hope Brandon is still up here. These are the white people who get up here with no knowledge and say that it is ethical. They have nothing to go off other than I want access to Black bodies and you can't tell me otherwise. I mean, the missing pieces in his brain is crazy. My goodness. Thank you for that though, breaking him down.
Nah, she broke that down.
Yeah, because you know what it is? You literally start to see them glitch in real time like a computer program when they're hit with hard facts. Because growing up YT in this society means that you grow up with rose-colored glasses on from the moment that you pop out the womb.
Absolutely.
You're
Wow.
not given the truth, and they are not given the truth because if they are given the truth, then they won't push the status quo and they'll question it. And then that will not give YT people at the top the numbers that they need. They've always been playing the YT people at the bottom. They love to talk about how Irish people came to this country as indentured servants. But the moment they got the opportunity to assimilate into YT culture, they did. Who did you guys think the overseers were? It weren't the original enslavers. They were still sitting on the hog, eating, chilling. They put the lowercase whites to work while they continue to collect the money. And we still see it in society today because enslavement was only created to build a capitalistic society.
Absolutely. And we know that simply by the fact that we know Shaquille O'Neal didn't get the name O'Neal from Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Big Black man named O'Neal.
Tracy McGrady. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. How y'all think y'all got these Irish surnames? You're not gonna meet too many Irish folk talking about their last name is Oyo. You ain't gonna see that. But or Wigwe. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna see that. Anyway, Stella, did you have something to tell us? Sister Stella.
Hey, brother legend. I was just coming to let you know I dealt with that real quick, like because the disrespect was getting a little, you know. I don't care for the if I don't care who comes in here. You know, you're gonna you're gonna respect my people at all times, and you will not start getting loud. You will not start getting disrespectful in tone, manner, anyway in the comments or up in this box. Because if you will, I will quickly exit you stage left. And there don't need to be pause for it. Pause are for when people that we just don't agree with, they're saying some nonsense, you know, or just getting asinine. But when people, especially YT people, and I'm putting that out there, YT especially, you get up in this black space and feel this need to prioritize yourself and feel like you can talk over us, treat us however you want to, talk to us however you want to, do whatever you want, it is not gonna fly. As long as I am in here, I was a little late today because I had to cook dinner, but what you won't do when I am in here is be disrespectful to any black person in this room at all. This is a space for us. You're honored and privileged to be allowed to even come in here and open your mouth and say anything. So act accordingly. If you cannot, I will deal with you. And so will the other mods as well. And if you are coming up trying to troll and get up in the box and troll, you will not make it in here either. Because I'm watching who's getting lined up trying to get in the boxes as well. So do not play with me. Today ain't the day. Brother already said it ain't the day for him. It sure the heck ain't the day for me. So don't do it. Love y'all.
All
Bye.
right, love you too, Auntie. Thank you. All right. So y'all see, we got Auntie protecting the space. Don't come up here playing. We got protection. We got protection. You know you're doing something right when you got sisters like Stella protecting the space. All right. So we ain't just up here to play with people. Go ahead, Black. Black is beautiful. What's going on, sister?
I was just gonna come up here and talk to that guy, but he gone.
All right. Yeah.
I'll be in the comments.
All right. Thank you, sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with these guys that come on here, it's all about why are you telling me I can't do this? Like, who are you to take away my ability? And not we're only posing the question, right? We're not literally saying, hey, we're gonna stop you at the gate if you no. We're just saying, is it ethical? The definition of ethical as you know it, as we developed it as humans. But for some reason, they cannot fathom even the question. Because at one point we had to ask, why is a grown man trying to mess with a 13-year-old girl? At one point, some societies, they had to ask that question, right? Now we have laws and things like that, but why does the question bother you so much?
Mm-hmm. Right. Why does the question bother you so much and you know how black people are treated? Why does the question bother you so much and you know your people ain't free? Why does the question bother you so much? And we know what just happened with George Floyd, and we know what's going on today with mass incarceration and critical race theory being taken out of schools. We know what's going on, and yet we can't even ask the question. That's what gets me. And I want us to get to the point where we're answering the question instead of asking why the question shouldn't or should exist. Like that, because that's the stance that y'all take when y'all don't want to answer the question. All right. Kyron, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
It's Kieran, black, 34. The answer is yes, it's ethical. Why would it not be ethical? Why would it be immoral for interracial marriage?
So you just say yes instead of, and then ask why it wouldn't. So that tells me that you're saying
Oh,
yes to something you're not informed on, or
if you want further details, I'll go into depth. It's ethical because there's no reason for it not to be. It's marriage. It will be the same as any other interracial marriage. I don't think morality is a thing that comes into question. That's why I have a bit of a problem with it, because even the way your question is phrased is loaded a little bit.
I don't see how it's loaded. How's it
Loaded
loaded?
to you because you got a lack of, but
Like how is it loaded?
It's because of the way it's the wording of it. Are interracial marriages between ethical? So it's already kind of framing it around the ethics of a marriage, where
Yeah, I
normally
know.
that's not really something that comes into the context of marriage. That's why it's loaded.
So if I married a little girl, I couldn't ask if that's ethical or not. Like if marrying, I don't know, a prison warden were to marry a prisoner of his own prison, um, could I ask that question? Could I ask if that were ethical or not?
You could, but look at the things you're comparing. You're comparing interracial marriages with nonces and kidnappers.
Kidnappers.
You said if someone, a prisoner and their captor.
Kidnappers. So you think race has nothing to do with kidnapping?
What? No. I think your comparison was silly. Because you were comparing interracial marriages.
He just said it. Yo, that's crazy. That's
he still ain't making that
wild.
connection. It's
He
crazy.
just said it. Like race was created to kidnap people. Like that's wild. Go ahead, Black is beautiful.
Well, I'm just gonna let y'all know now.
What? Bad enough?
This man has been on my panel. He has been on other panels.
Yeah, I remember him.
Oh, I
And
don't know. I don't know this guy.
oh,
Oh, okay.
It's nice to meet you.
Oh, you like bunnies, huh?
no,
Huh?
I call him.
No,
I know
I
his
like.
name is Kieran, but I call him Karen because of the way that he was acting, how he be caping for white
Oh,
folks.
okay. All
You
right.
know, it's
He a
yeah.
dancer. All right.
Hey, host man, just make a judgment on my character based on how I actually behave, not on
Oh,
what
Nah,
I've been taught.
no need for me to lie, Karen.
Yeah, whatever.
No need
Hey,
for me to lie, sir.
Uncle
host
Karen.
man, host man, do you understand why your comparison was silly?
Listen, I'll take nothing you say serious after some of the things you've already said that just make no sense. You just said,
Name one
I'm
thing I said that
comparing,
didn't
you
make
just
sense.
said kidnappers. Like, race wasn't created to kidnap people.
I didn't
Like,
say that's why race was created.
no, I didn't say you said that. I'm saying, yes, I think race should be something we can compare to kidnappers marrying the people they kidnapped because that's literally what we're talking about right now. Like,
It's literally not what we're talking about.
yes, it is.
We're
What do you
literally
believe
talking about
Africans?
interracial marriages.
Do you believe Africans were not kidnapped? Who is
No, but
bringing all these people up here? Please don't do that. Don't have too
no,
many people up here because then they crosstalk when they get upset. Um,
no, but
Karen. So
we're literally talking about interracial marriages.
no, we're talking about violence towards black people. Anything having to do with race has always been violence to black people. Has it not? Has there ever been a time where the idea of race was ethical and caused no harm?
No, because
We're talking about ethics in we're talking about ethics in relation to doing harm to people and the environment. So, although you can say that morality is very subjective, we could talk about that. However, ethics is clearly defined, and I'll actually change my prompt to the version of the prompt that has the definition of ethics in it. So, ethical, relating to moral principles or the branch of knowledge dealing with avoiding activities or organizations that do harm to people or the environment. So, we're talking about things that do harm. When something does harm, it is unethical. When it is ethical, it avoids doing harm. So, if we're going to talk about things that are ethical, understand that for the context of this conversation, we're talking about if it avoids doing harm to people. Now, harm has already been done to black people. And interracial marriage is marrying black people that were kidnapped by one group and then marrying those black people that were kidnapped by this group without making sure that there was a way for them to return back home or to make sure that if they're going to stay on the land they were kidnapped on, that they were going to receive equitable and just treatment. That being the case, we pose the question, is it ethical or not? So, in order for you to say it is unethical, you now have to dismiss racial oppression and say that race is something that is a neutral categorization of people. Some people are this way, some people are that way. There's no real power dynamic at play. That's the only way you could justify this. How you decide to do this will depend on how you choose to proceed. So I'm curious to hear that actually.
thank you for giving me time. I'll try to explain. First of all, I don't think interracial marriage or same as heterosexual marriage, I don't think it needs to be justified. I don't know why you're framing it that way. I think due to your personal feelings about it, and also your no offense to you.
Yeah, he can go. Cause I didn't speak out of emotion. Did I say how I felt about anything? Like
No,
I really don't like it when people try to
he's
tell me how I feel.
he's
Like
manipulating, and
yeah,
he was
he's being
trying to
manipulative.
do
Yeah,
reverse psychology on you or something like that. Like
yeah.
yeah, don't like that.
Because it annoys me because I really do feel things, and I would love to tell people how I feel. But I try to keep that to the back because we're trying to actually talk about definitions and use ontology to, support a thesis here. So we're not just talking out of our feelings. We're talking from a perspective
And
based on
what's the
knowledge.
comparison with sexuality? Like, what does
I don't know
that have
where
to
he was
do
about
with
to go
it?
with that. Yeah, I don't know.
And it's not because it's from the UK, because the UK is just as problematic as America. Where did
Right.
America start from? Answer that question. So it's not because he's from the UK. He's just another.
No, I think he was just trying to manipulate. He's a manipulator. He seems like he's more or less narcissistic. If you would have seen him on other panels, he was more disrespectful to me as a black woman. Maybe that's not why he
Yeah.
didn't really say anything to you. But when he was on my panel, oh my God, disgusting. His
Yeah, I
mouth.
remember him. Black is beautiful, and of course he didn't take none of that tone here.
Mm-hmm.
Sure
And the
didn't. He was
reason it's
actually complete
unethical,
opposite. That's why I'm saying it had something to. He has some misogyny to unpack because that's
Of course.
ridiculous.
Yeah, of
and,
course.
and the main reason these unions are honestly unethical is because I don't think a lot of people take a look at African Americans' predicament in this country as they're still prisoners of war.
Talk about it, Ty. Okay.
And
Oh man, you cutting
can
off,
you hear
Ty.
me? I was getting a
Yeah,
call.
you
Sorry.
cutting up.
Yeah, I was getting a call. Sorry. I tell people this all the time.
What the heck happened?
Somebody blowing her
That
up
be
on my
happening
phone.
to me when you decline a call and the person just gonna call back like 4 or 5 times.
Yes, it's my sister. She keeps calling. Sorry. So I say we're still prisoners of war because we are. So nowhere in any place have you seen prisoners of war rushing to marry their oppressors because
Right,
it's unethical. It does not make sense. And we are still prisoners of war because we have never actually been freed from the person oppressing us. They
right.
gave us no
Yes.
means to return
Still
to
in
our
control.
homeland. They
Right.
stripped our homeland from us, and it was done purposefully so they can try to maintain a forever workforce.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it becomes unethical because when black people date people of other races, you have to subscribe to this level of cognitive dissonance to
Right,
tell yourself that love is love. And then I
right.
think a lot of people should honestly check the history of marriage and understand that those unions originally were never built out of love. They were built out of economic growth, which is
Yep.
why dowries and bride fees were a thing. And in a lot of countries, they are still a thing.
Max,
Okay?
you couldn't just marry whoever you wanted. You had to come with something,
Right.
and that was for the community. That was for that family.
You
So
want to
even
know
when
who
they say
created
that,
romance? Broke men created romance. Broke men created romance because they were missing out. Women created polygamy. You would see all the women swarmed around one man, the man with the resources. Why would I want to date a bum? Those women didn't care about other women. They cared about securing their future. Broke men didn't like it, so they created romance and they push it heavily. The
Mm.
first slaves were wives.
No, that's right.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And it makes so much sense. Why would you want to be with somebody that you struggle with? Like it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, I know sometimes it builds a stronger bond, but damn, what if you didn't have to?
It's
Wow.
not what it's about. That's why you even see now today, marriage is a contract, and people can say that it's not. But if it wasn't, you wouldn't have to sign paperwork. You wouldn't need to see a justice of peace. You wouldn't need to go down to a courthouse. You're signing a legal binding contract. It's exactly why the courts have to let you out of it. Wake up,
Mm.
y'all.
Wake up. All right. I'm gonna let Ty host the show because she coming with knowledge today. That is facts.
Yeah, she got facts.
I'm a
That
history
is,
major, and I don't just
yeah.
study African American history. I study all history. African American history is my major, but all
Mm-hmm.
history matters because it all plays a part into what's going on in society today. And if you
Mhm.
don't pay attention to what happened in the past, it's going to repeat itself. Prime example, America. And our
Right.
government is flailing because their workforce is no longer a workforce. And women are not having children anymore. They need the babies and the bodies to continue this capitalistic society. It's starting to fail, and they're seeing it.
In the end stages, but we're gonna see.
Well, you would like Sankophobia. Sankophobia, for those that don't know, is a actually I got the shirt on right now. So Sankophobia is a website that we're building from an Afrocentric perspective, like Wikipedia. We're going to tell world history from the viewpoint of Africans and Black people. So you know, we're going to be unapologetic with it. It also comes with a cool like graph view, so that you can go on like Martin Luther King's profile and then see a graph, a web of the people and lives that he touched in different organizations, and you can click there and it'll take you to someone new, and then it makes like a tree. We do have a beta of the website. If you want to join and get access to it, you can on b1initiative.org. The link is in my website, on my profile with b1initiative.org. That's the name of our nonprofit, 501c3. You can also donate. But yeah, so Sankophobia is basically our history project. I'm a DM you the link, Ty. You know, if you can lend some of that brain to us, you know, it
Yeah,
would be
definitely
welcome.
send it to me. I'm always researching things. Like I'm on summer break right now from school, but
Hmm.
I still hop on the school's library every now and again just to search things that come in my head because so
Hmm.
much of our history has been wiped away and whitewashed.
Yeah.
That if you don't continue to research, they will do what they come in these lives and they try to do all the time: change the narrative, change the story, rewrite history. And we know that's because the victor is never going to write himself as the bad guy.
Hmm. That's
He
right.
who controls the narrative controls the future.
Hmm. Absolutely. Well, thank you again. I'm gonna go to the next guest, y'all. Don't forget to keep tapping like. We gotta get to 50K likes ASAP. We gotta get to 50K likes. So as y'all listen along, just keep tapping like. Thank you for sending the gifts. Let the algorithm know in some way that you're getting some value from the live, so we can keep the conversation going. I'm gonna go to the next guest, Zach Majors. Give us your age, your race, and your pronouns.
Yeah, I am 28 years old from Jacksonville, Florida. I am Caucasian, and I go by he, him. The only reason I joined was because you kicked that previous guest, and because he was accusing you of speaking with emotion, and you're trying to keep it factual based. I get that, but I was just curious what your standpoint is on interracial marriages from an emotional perspective.
I don't. I don't answer questions on this live. I ask them. So we're here to learn more than we're here to give emotional anecdotes. Um, and honestly, any emotion that I would have would be rooted in logic. I don't even like people that do it the other way around, where they make and find logic that fits their emotion. Like my emotion would be rooted in logic. So, but we're not here to answer questions. Let's find out what you think from a non-emotional perspective. Um, you know,
Can you
about
answer this
interracial
question right
marriage.
here?
Yeah. What do you think about the question? Hey, Rand.
What was the point? What was the point, gang?
He was
Look, I
trying to be
don't.
educated. That's what it was.
Yeah, we don't do
Well
that.
educated.
Yeah, we don't do it. He ran. He dropped himself. Let's go to the next guest. Black, neurodivergent. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Hi, I'm 37, and my pronouns are she, her.
All right. Talk to us.
Okay, so to answer this question, I definitely think that interracial marriages are ethical. I'm coming from the perspective of obviously being black and neurodivergent is in my name. In neurodivergent people, we do tend to think against the norm. That's like part of the makeup, right? But basically a little bit about my past. I used to date exclusively black men. Like, that's who I was exposed to.
I don't want to do that.
I'm neurodivergent too, so that did no.
Yeah, I don't want to
I
do
don't
that
like when
because
people do that.
yeah, like when you start to shield yourself with your neuro spiciness. Now, when we start to pick apart your answers, you're going to say, you're going to be able to lean into victimization by saying, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to do. I learned that a long time ago coming on TikTok. I don't want to do that. You
I
know.
don't like when people weaponize it, and that's
Right. That's what
exactly
it
where she
was. Yeah,
was about to
weapon.
go. Was she was about to weaponize it to say, "Oh, well, my logic is this way because I." No, don't do that. I don't like that at
Yeah.
all.
Right. All right. Let's go to the next guest. Charlie, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hello, hello, everybody. Charlie, 42, black male. Uh, he, him.
All right. Talk to us, Charlie.
Um, I really just wanted to direct something towards the Caucasian dude's question because it's quite funny, and to me, Ty already hinted to it, and it goes to the direct question about your room, whether the marriages are ethical or not, and how I am is love for you, love, do what you do, it's your life, you got to live it to the fullest. But on the question of whether it's ethical or not, hell no, it's not ethical. From my perspective, like Ty was saying, uh, people come from a practice of security, especially going back, the further you go back in history, because time was a lot harder. And right now in America specifically, we're dealing with a unique situation where one side got to completely hoard all of the resources, right, that we use for daily life. I can walk in a grocery store, there's a million items in there. Every last one of them backed by a family. None of them black, for the most part. Whether I'm getting cheese, milk, or eggs. Same thing damn near with any and all stores. Like the most mundane, everyday thing. Like the resources is really cornered for us. So then you shoot us out into the system, and then you have these marriages that we're talking about with said person who has, once again, hoarded and stolen all of the resources, and we're still in a fight in 2024 just to get the equality out of the situation, to get back
Mm.
what a lot of others that came before us gave, right? Um, with the hope that one day that we would somewhere down the line be the ones to unlock what they did for us, and that's all.
That's enough. All right. Hey, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna say this one time. I'm gonna give y'all an out. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of a. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of an out. So some of the people that want to come up here, I'm gonna give you a little bit of an out. So this live is not about telling anybody who to love, anybody who to marry. Marriage and love are not synonymous. This live don't got nothing to do with love. If you believe that, then you have been misinformed. You are in the wrong live. We are not up here to talk about love. The only love we up here to talk about is black love. I don't know if I missed something, Kiwi. Let me know, because I kind of was doing something else just now. But anyway, the only love we here to talk about is black love. If I missed something, Kiwi, let me know, because I know you a good you'll sniff them out. But what I'm saying is This live don't got nothing to do with love. We are not telling nobody how to live their life. We just saying what is ethical and unethical as an idea of interracial marriage. A lot of people come up here and start talking about individual marriages and start talking about individuals. We're talking about interracial marriage is not something that has always existed throughout human history. It's not something that has always existed. It's not. So this is an idea that was created. Race is an idea that was created. Thus, we can talk about these broad topics, broad concepts, and how people come together in the areas of people activity. We know that white people hold privilege and black people are taken advantage of in all 10 areas of people activity. The 10 areas of people activity are economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, war, health, and love. These are the 10 areas where people groups come together and interact with one another. In all of these 10 areas of people activity, there is an influence by racism, white supremacy. Now, when I say that the economics between black and white people is unethical, nobody got a problem admitting that. Yeah. I mean, the banking system and they stop us from getting houses, the credit system and right? When I say it about education, they took critical race theory out the schools and they're not teaching us our history and we know about that. We know. And the illiteracy rate of black boys, When I say it about entertainment, we don't get representation. A lot of our true stories are not really told, and they leave us off camera and got us wearing yarn for locks in our hair. That's problematic. When I say it about labor, law, politics, religion. When you talk about religion, they taught us white Jesus, and religion was a colonization tool, and it's not something that we was doing before we were introduced to our colonizer, and all. We could talk about all that. It's weaponized. Even they will admit it is weaponized. It has been weaponized. There was a thing called the slave Bible. It has been weaponized. But for some reason, when we get to the 10th area of people activity, it's not really the 10th. I think it's like the 8th. I just skipped it until the last one. But when we talk to the area that I just named as number 10, when we get to love, oh no, race don't exist. No, it's race. It don't matter here. No. Black oppression. What do you mean? White privilege has nothing to do with love. Love is love. It don't make sense. Can someone make it make sense? In all other areas where people groups interact with each other under the racial caste system that oppresses black people and gives white people access to exploitation of black bodies and land, under this system currently that we are still being oppressed by, when we talk about any other area of activity, it's fine to talk about oppression, but for some reason, when we get the love, the blinders come on, and it don't matter. Oh no, it don't matter. So just because a lot of y'all don't know why something is ethical or not, don't mean that we are saying it is wrong. We might be saying it's wrong, but we're not saying that you shouldn't do it. If you want to do it, go ahead. I think it's wrong to smoke cigarettes. It's unhealthy. I could host a live about how smoking cigarettes is unhealthy. That don't mean I'm telling you not to do it. If you want to do it, do what you want to do. But it's still unhealthy. And just because you smoke it on an individual basis, don't mean that for most people, it don't cause cancer. Just because you ain't get cancer is perfectly fine? No. So now I'm going to go back to the live. We're going to talk some more. But please do not come up here and try to mischaracterize what we're trying to say as to say that we're trying to tell people who to love and who not to love and how dare you and, do all of that. We're not doing all of that. We're talking about can black people get love from the same people that benefit from their exploitation during their oppression in the same time? If we was talking about this after black oppression was over, we could have a completely different conversation. Let's talk about it then. We can talk about it then. 500 years after racial oppression is over and people don't know what black and white people mean. And they're just like, oh, you mean you wear a black t-shirt today? That's why you calling yourself black? What do you mean white? You got white underwear on? What do you mean? When we get to the point where people don't have this social caste system already inherently taught to them, then we can talk about something else. But then it wouldn't be interracial marriage. It would just be people marriage. It would just be marriage. There's no such thing as race. So there can't be anything interracial if there's no more race. But as long as race exists and as long as it is oppressive, we are going to question whether or not it is ethical. Why this conversation didn't happen before Loving versus Virginia? Why white people didn't sit down and ask us after 339 years of graping our mothers if this was something that we wanted before they passed it in the Supreme Court? I don't know, but we're having it now. We're having the discussion now. We're late. So anyone that feels offended, we're too late to make a change about it now anyway. And the change can't be made by us. It would have to be made by the people with the privilege to do so. So at the end of the day, there's nothing for you to even get mad about. We don't have the power to change nothing. All right.
If black people could make the connection right, why don't white people advocate for your equity in education or politics or financially, or you know what I'm saying? Why is the only place where white people are advocating for you when they're trying to be with you? Right? That's the only place. Nobody else is getting into other people's lives and saying, hey, why aren't we doing this and this and this for black people? We've done this to them. And at the same time, with the marriage, no, they just want to get up here. They look at this question. They just want to get up here and tell you why you don't have the right to question. They want us as property still, right? But this is their ethical way of keeping us as property, right? But answer this question though.
Oh, you muted up, brother. We can't hear you. That's facts. This is their ethical way to keep y'all as property, to say that you asked for it.
Yeah. I mean, really, look at the word consent, man. How can we consent to anything in this society?
Consent means that you have the power to say yes and the power to say no. If black people decided right now that this was unethical, let's say we was all on code and we decided it is unethical, what could we do to stop it? What could we do, y'all? If we decided right now we didn't want this no more in our community and we was going to eradicate it, what then?
And it's crazy that some black people cannot make the connection, but you know, a lot of people are far gone, especially the men, because you know what I'm saying, lack of female activity in a man's life will lead you to do some think some crazy types of ways and act a certain way. So they can't fathom not being able to be with certain types of women. And that's involuntary, you know. They think they have a choice, but they don't. But make the connection, man. It's all about making connections in your head. These things, they just don't come about for no reason. Like we said, the inception of the court case stems from a 17-year-old, guy and an 11-year-old girl. That's the inception of that court case. So, I mean, what's good?
Wait, is that facts? I didn't even know that. So you saying the white T man was 17?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the sister was 11?
Yeah, so
I'm
that's
saying.
still what do they call it? I forgot. Um forgot a certain kind of essay, but anyways, it's still him a lot older than her.
Yo,
Yeah.
how am I hosting this live and I'm still learning stuff like this? That's crazy. Yo.
And she
Like,
she ended up getting pregnant and she ended up in jail.
Yeah.
Like how did she end up in jail? Yeah.
Oh,
y'all
nah.
haven't
Oh,
heard they
this is the
had a
Yeah,
devil.
whole.
statutory.
This is
Y'all
the
Statutory
haven't
rape.
heard
devil.
that
Yeah, yeah,
there's a.
yeah, yeah. Statutory rape. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
He
y'all
ended
haven't
up
Yeah.
heard the new push.
imprisoned. Like,
The
isn't that
whole
crazy?
y'all haven't heard the new push or the whole new resurgence behind these um, minor attracted peoples. Like
Mm.
they've rebranded their whole group.
Mm, real.
I mean,
That's
they're
real,
running around
bro.
with stickers and shit.
That's real.
There's a Republican lawmaker, if I'm correct, who has introduced a statute to marry like 12-year-olds.
Mm.
That's
So I mean,
disgusting.
there's shit going on. I just don't believe the information. Like people are too busy in their daily lives because everything and got 3 times as expensive, 3 times more expensive. So you know what we doing. We working more hours to cover the shit. More hours means less sleep, less time with the family. Like they're trying to stress us the fuck out so that we don't sit and take in the information and disseminate it and have these types of talks.
Mm. Wow. Okay. All right. So after what sis just said and what Charlie just said, I don't want to hear y'all talking about what do you mean ethical. Like, I don't even want to hear that now. That's wild. 11 and 17. That's wild. Like that's wild. 17 and 24 is wild, and that's the same. I'm sure, yeah, that's the same age gap. 17 and 24 is wild. 11 and 17. Oh no, it's a similar age gap, but yeah, I'm not the best at math. Let's go to the next guest. Um, uh, Adri, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hi, I'm 20, Black and Cuban, and she, her.
All right, talk to us.
Okay, so I kind of just have like more questions than really like statements.
You don't answer questions.
Oh,
You just
sorry,
say you was
never mind.
black. We'll answer some questions. Go ahead.
Um, okay, so like I do understand where you're coming from. Do you think that it's possible to like, there's like obviously a disconnect in interracial relationships when it comes to like almost everything, like, you know, race, anything you talk about with them. But do you think that there's, for lack of like a better word, like good white people who are willing to like like learn, and like then when it comes to that, like does that change the ethics of it,
What?
or
All right.
huh?
Learn what?
Yeah, learn what first of all.
What'd you say?
Learn what exactly?
Like like how to not be racist. Like I don't know how to, I'm not.
I know you don't know because you know that is something that even that doesn't like stop harm from being done. Like even Martin Luther King said, like we don't need non-racists. Like there's plenty of non-racist white people that just are neutral, don't see color, just non-racist. Like I just you know, I mean that even that is racism, but it's like it's more covert
Well,
because
yeah.
it's complicit. The goal that any white T person that claims to be an ally would want to achieve it would be anti-racism or, God forbid, counter-racism, where they're actually proactively disrupting the system that gives them privilege. But even that would be a lot of work for any white T person to do, only to lose their advantage in society. So you're telling me that there's so many of these kind-hearted white T people that they are willing to do work daily because it's not just you know what? I solved it all yesterday. Racism gone. Like That doesn't happen. So it's a daily practice after you've been indoctrinated since you were a child that you were special because of the color of your skin gave you privilege. So that being the case, you're telling me that there's good white people out there that wake up every day and work to dismantle the system outside of themselves.
No,
Because that's the thing. Like, if you're going to talk about education, that's like if I want to stop global warming from happening, me studying and educating myself on stopping global warming is not going to stop global warming. Even if I buy an electric car, I eat vegan, I don't buy plastic things, like I am one person in a system. That's so to say that, just that one person educating themselves and living the way that they're living, in a society where there's still going to be all of these problems around them is not enough. They need to actually go out, organize, and act on that education. We have not seen them do that. When black people come up and try to act as if these good white people exist, my next question is, why have they only stopped at education? Why haven't they organized and acted on that information? We've seen them do that. We've seen them do that with Project 2025. We've seen them do that with Make America Great Again. We've seen them do that with the Proud Boys. We've seen them do that in Nazi Germany. We've seen them do that with the Klan. We have seen them organize however they wanted to. We've seen them do that with church. We see them do that with PETA when they want to save the animals. We've seen them do this for so many other things. But we have not seen them get in the way of racism and try to dismantle it. Where are these good white people?
And then, so I have a question for you, Avery. When they were challenging affirmative action, the white tea man and the Asian man, where were these good white tea people stopping them from evening the playing fields just a little bit?
Yeah, I get the question. And sorry, yeah,
Paul, you got to
echo. Sorry, there was like a lack. I didn't know what word to use. I'm not saying like good white people, like that was like, but I didn't. Yeah, I'm not good at articulating my words right now.
We know what you mean. You mean white people that are non-harmful and actually working to disarm racism from being harmful. My thing is, those people don't exist in enough quantity to even be a discussion right now.
Okay, so then but so do you believe that all white people are inherently racist? Like, yes. Okay.
Absolutely. You don't get the word. You don't get the word white without racism.
Well, yeah, we agree there. But so, okay, I was trying to answer. I don't know. Okay, sorry. So, yeah, I guess as a whole, then it would be like unethical. I guess I'm thinking of individual situations where it's been.
But that's what they do, and that's why it's problematic that you even come up to do that, because that's what they do. Look up the individualistic fallacy of racism. Just look it up, please, everyone. Next person come up here and even say the word individual, I'm taking them down. This is the last time I'm talking on this today.
Well, I wasn't coming up here.
No. Listen, I'm not. You don't have to defend yourself. I understand you didn't know, but I have to teach because I'm tired of this same disruption happening again and again and again and again. Every time I talk about racism on my live, a black person got to come up and talk about on an individual level, though. If we were in the wilderness by ourselves, away from society, you telling me that a baby born would be a racist? Like, stop. We don't live in that world. like, please. They don't exist in enough quantity to even be a discussion. And they are still inherently racist. They haven't worked to dismantle the reason they're inherently racist. So look it up, the individualistic fallacy of racism. I have an entire video on it. Just go on my page. Please don't come up here censoring white individuals to try to scapegoat the entire group, because the group has shown us they don't give a damn. And individualism is a Eurocentric concept in the first place.
As well.
But for us, for example, I don't know whose echo that is. We did have Bernie Sanders And what's crazy?
I'm not sure what's going on. Y'all got a lot of echo. I'm
It's
helping my wife bring the groceries in, but
fine.
yeah.
Might have to drop and come back up.
Yeah, Charlie, you might have to drop and come back up.
No, it's not. It's not Charlie. It's
Oh, it's
Ty.
Ty. Ty. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Ty, you got an echo. But yeah,
What I was saying was,
individualism. Go ahead, Charlie.
we do have some very good examples. Bernie Sanders was one, and what's crazy is that he doesn't even really get the support that he should from us for him doing the things that he did amongst
Bernie
all his
Sanders is a
peers who
Zionist.
were among all his peers who were the same age, who could have been out there putting their bodies on the line for the rights and for the things that we were fighting for. Like none of them were there, and you would have to
Bernie,
think
I don't think Bernie
that
Sanders
you
was a good example, brother. I'm gonna be honest with you,
Yeah, he's not at
because
all.
he
No
don't.
white folk is a good example at this point. They are all inherently racist.
Bernie Sanders
oh well
is
no
against
we're not
reparations.
arguing that we're not arguing that they're not inherently racist. What I'm saying is that there are examples of white people that have got out there and have taken the fight to the front line. But once again, no, not
Man,
no
he ain't
large
take
enough
that to the
quantity.
front line. The man don't believe in
Bernie
reparations.
Sanders not a good
Right.
example of that.
But the thing is what it shouldn't take them over hundreds of years to get this right. Why don't they just dismantle it if there's so many good whites out there? I'm gonna say good white. But yeah, if they're so good, how come it's taking them hundreds of years to dismantle a system?
Because nobody is going to work daily to against a majority of their community to take away their advantage over other
Exactly.
people in a
Right.
society that has taught you that in order to survive you have to take advantage of other, like this society thrives on that. So I'm gonna work to have a disadvantage. Like it's just so and honestly, let's talk about what it really is:
You
racism, white
see this
supremacy.
lady right here in this comment? Why don't you educate yourself like we did? Excuse me?
Anyway, racism, white supremacy is a is not a matter of hatred. And some of y'all think just because some of them don't hate us that that makes them better than the rest. And it's not a matter of hatred. It's a matter of in their minds, it is a matter of self-preservation. And I'm so glad to see Auntie Smart Sister is up here. Smart Sister, can you please talk to these people? Please.
What's been going on? I just came
We
up. What's going on?
we talking about the individualism and not all of them are racist and what if there's a white tea person that isn't racist, is it still unethical?
Right.
Oh Lord. Well, Black is
My
Beautiful can
sister.
tell you about what happened in her live
Yes,
yesterday.
she went off.
Uh,
She's so tired. She said, I have been working on this for a long time. Y'all still don't get it? Oh, she went off. And I was like, good for you. You needed to release that.
oh, I did. Because there was some little boy on there, 19, trying to argue all us sisters down about racism and how that Black people could be racist too. Man, I don't know why that. I guess maybe because he was 19 and it just pissed me the hell off. When she'll tell you, I was like, do you remember colored signs? I do. I lived through that. Do you remember going into a restaurant and nobody would serve you? I do. I went through that. And like I said, the Black student unions that students take advantage of at your damn college, I had to fight for that. We
Right.
marched and closed the school down to get a Black student union.
Yeah.
And these
And
kids take shit like that for
And
granted. So, who gives a damn? And Sister Soldier was talking about where the good white people at. And
yeah,
I say that all the time. Where y'all at? Don't nobody give a damn. It's a system. Like you said, it's a system. Now, if I'm sitting up here going off on a 19-year-old Black young man
yep.
and he won't get it together because he's still caping for their ass. You know, what makes you think a white person is going to do it? And I don't give a damn where the good white folks at. Where have they been for the past 400 years? If it's so many of them, you know, then where they at? They could have dismantled a whole bunch of shit if they had wanted to. Like you know, Muhammad Ali said, if a rattlesnake's chasing your ass down the street, do you have time to stop and say, wait a minute, this one ain't gonna bite me? This one ain't, oh, maybe that one won't either. Hell no, you gonna run to the house and shut the door. Okay, because you don't know which one is which and who got time to figure the shit out. Let them do it. See, that's what I'm so sick of, us waiting and hoping and praying and sliding in and falling in and everything, hoping that the white man one day is going. He ain't never gonna do it. If he was gonna do it, he wouldn't have never created the shit in the first place. So all the so-called good white folks, great. That's still, once again, the personal part of racism. That's just one aspect. Okay, and so what? If it might be a nice white person that'll help pick you up off the ground if you fail. Okay, but that's personal. That's not systemic, it's not institutional, and it's not historic. So, you know, we're not dumb enough to sit up here and say, oh my God, no white person that has a good bone in their body. Okay, I mean, let's be real, because there was another one. I don't know if it was your panel, Beautiful or not, where a brother came up there, well, you know, when you're educated, and, you know, one of them Negroes, you know, that's what I call them, uh I'm like, when all of your schools named after white folks, Howard was white, Morehouse was white, Spelman was white. Please don't get on here and come with that shit like somebody you know, there were what. No, you ought to be embarrassed that your so-called premier HBCUs was named after white folks. But anyway, please stop. Just
And
please stop.
that,
Don't let me go on a tizzy like I did yesterday.
well, you said you definitely said what needed to be said, Auntie. And as someone that saw the end of Jim Crow and saw Loving versus Virginia and Voting Rights Act and you know, just all the quote unquote litigation that was meant to create a better environment, a less hostile environment for our people. Would you say that racism is better today? Would you say that, you know, things for our people have gotten better since Loving versus Virginia? Smart sister.
Oh, hell no. I mean, racism is like a chameleon. You know, it'll change colors and adapt to whatever is around. So if anybody, you know, finding that brother in a tree in Georgia a couple of months is that a little better? They just didn't hang him as high as they used to. The hell? That's why I'm just saying, I'm tired of it. I can't explain nothing else to nobody. Like I said, sometimes I wish some of these young folks had seen and been through some of that shit. You know, we did it to try to make it better. I still hope some of them so they could get the realization of how real this shit is. My mother almost was unalived because there was a naval base near them. And my mother was pregnant and was walking down the street with her pregnant dog, where she was mad at her husband and went for a walk. And you know, in the country back then, there's no lights, it's very dark. And you just got the moon. And do you know, the soldier saw her talking about, let's get that N word. My mother ran, the dog ran, she hid behind some bushes. The dog never barked, never said a word. Okay. They asked, where did she go? Blah, blah, blah. After a while, they left. Do you know, a few days later, they found the sister unalived, full of gravel, where they
My
had
lord.
raped her and made her swallow and had put gravel in her vagina.
Woo!
That could have been my mother,
Wow.
which means I never would have been here. Yes, that happened in
Wow.
Tennessee. Okay, right before I was born. Okay, in the late 50s. So do not freaking sit here and tell me about the fucking Oxford definition of racism. I wish a mother effer would. See, that's the kind of reality of things that these young folks don't know and that have happened. They feel the woman full of gravel off the ground. And you gonna sit up here and fucking tell me about how there really are some good ones? Okay, was there a good one in that truck of those soldiers that day? Okay, what was they gonna do? You know, and if it's so many of them, get them together and let them dismantle this shit. We don't need to worry about it. Let them go, let them do it. We need to be worrying about like that 19-year-old that was going to sit there and try to argue me down about what racism is and caping for white folks. That's who I'm worried about. I'm not worried about them because if it's so many good ones, y'all gonna get together and do what you got to do. But see, I have memories of things and stories like that that were told to me to keep me crystal damn clear on what direction I need to be going in.
Lord have mercy. Well, thank you, Auntie.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is another this is the elder of our space in b1initiative.org. I just want to kind of show y'all how our space is run. This is not just a live where we're coming up here to vent emotions. We're actually here to impart wisdom, like what Sister just told y'all, and education, like the different talking points that we've shown y'all today from our scholars. So you know, this is the type of things that we're talking about when we talk about, is it ethical? You're telling me in the same world where Smart Sister can see that happen to a black woman, that now a white man marrying a black woman is going to be considered ethical? Now, we can say they have a right to do whatever they want because we can't stop them from doing whatever they want. We've never been able to do that. So that being the case, you know, no one can tell y'all what to do. However, that don't mean that we as a people are going to agree and consider it something that's right, that should be done. And I think Smart Sister, man, that's a story now. I hope would radicalize any of the people whose ears heard that word. I hope y'all take that wisdom, because these stories leave with our older generation. We have to pass them on. So you know, continue to radicalize yourself in defense and liberation for your people. And remember, we're not even here to dismantle racism. That's not our job. We're not here to dismantle racism. Racism can stay as long as it want to stay, but we're here to make it irrelevant when it comes to our people, and we only do that by empowering each other. So I'm gonna keep it rolling, man. We got some more people that want to come up here. I'm gonna let them come up, have a little bit of conversation.
I'll drop down to make more
Okay.
room. All right.
Thank you, Black is Beautiful. Black is Beautiful is also, she hosts a Pan-African space as well. So y'all could check her out. Her lives are amazing. She's part of B1 Initiative as well. Smart Sister here is one of our elders. Stella, who was up here earlier, warning y'all not to keep playing around with us. She's also she's an elder slash director. She's a director. Yeah. And then we got Brother Rashad here, also part of B1 Initiative. So yeah, we got family in here. This guest is loading still. I'm not sure if I'm having a problem.
Did you hear that Cheeto got shot at? Pew pew
Cheeto?
that. I'm sorry, F1. Cheeto Leany at his rally. Did you hear? You were alive? It just happened.
Wait, what? You talking about D Cheeto?
Yes.
It looked staged. It looked staged because you know what? It went off. The security guards got him, and he stood up and put the Black Power fist up, bro.
Who? Wait, who? You're not talking about DT.
Yeah, we
Yes,
are. Yeah,
sir.
we are.
Get your
Hey, look,
phone,
so
baby.
stays.
Let me
They
run.
said they tried to shoot at Donald.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at some type of rally. I forgot the place.
I didn't know it was a brother that did it, but yeah, the Secret Service saved
Oh,
him.
that's
But
righteous
yeah,
retaliation. Yes, sir. All right now.
I
Hey,
said it was a brother. It
hey,
makes
man.
it even better.
Hey, he should. It was in Philly.
Yes,
Oh
well, it was
man.
in
Hey, that's hey
Pennsylvania.
man.
All I knew it was in Pennsylvania.
Even though he was probably unsuccessful, just the fact that that happened in Philadelphia, you know, the place where they talk about liberty so much, man.
Right,
He let freedom ring. You know what I'm saying?
right.
I
The
would have
news
let
is
freedom
saying
ring.
that DT's ear got clipped. He got hit.
Yeah,
Damn.
it grazed them. Mm-hmm.
Word.
To the mother.
Damn.
I didn't know it was a brother. I didn't see that part, but man, when I saw that, I was laughing so hard.
They
Cheeto lean.
missed. They missed.
Mm-hmm. But for him, they even got that close.
I think they missed on purpose. I don't think.
It was a
Yeah, because
brother.
if he clipped his
Pushing
ear, he could
agenda.
have went on and did the doggone thing.
I
It
feel like this
was
is
a
going to be
brother.
used to push an agenda for
Oh
what's for
yeah, I mean he's gonna
politics.
spin it, of
Yeah,
That
they
course.
could
gonna
be
use it.
So
too.
wild. Come on.
Damn, they
Of
missed.
all people, who are his ops? I mean, I know he's got tons of ops, but seriously, to be chasing him down.
Oh man, it's a missed foul,
Well,
bro.
somebody will, honey. It's always somebody. If they took out all these presidents, don't think somebody can. Anybody can be unalived. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
Anybody.
yeah,
Ain't no. We are not God. We are not all knowing, all seeing, all nothing. Anybody can be taken out. I don't care who
yeah.
you are. Yeah, you see,
Well,
we can't give them all power like they know everything. Right now, in my brain, if I wanted to go do it, how they gonna know? They can't get in
right.
my head. That's the one thing YT folks still can't do. So they still don't know. I can play all kind of games. I can do all kind of stuff to throw them off or whatever. You know, nobody is God. So
Hmm.
anything can happen. You know, so
Absolutely.
what I want to see is how they gonna galvanize. Because I always said Ronald Reagan, I thought that was an inside job, me personally,
Hmm.
to galvanize the country to get, because I said if he had really been hit, his old behind would have been up out of here. The
That'd have
shock
been
of it. So, I always a little misty on that. But yeah, he sure did. Well, I didn't know he had I heard it said it glazed
yeah. His
him,
face.
but I saw it was his hand, not his ear. Now that's deep. If it was his ear, that means,
It was
man,
his
it was
ear.
about to take him out.
It was his ear, bruh. I'm watching it right now.
Okay, I know. I
Um,
just saw it. I said, well,
like,
let me come and tell you.
how did you miss, bruh?
Okay.
Man, we be living in a different world. I mean, they still gonna do what they gonna do, right?
Right,
They gonna
but
find a new one.
to get a little friendly reminder every now and then don't never hurt nobody. So somebody can come
Yeah,
say something about me if you want to, but the way that you all have unalived all our leaders that was doing stuff, I really don't give a damn. Really,
yeah,
you reap what you sow.
man.
And all the shit talking he done. So all of these black Republicans, I guess they'll go Kate for 'em.
Yeah, they gonna, they gonna spin it. They gonna spin it. Hey,
Uh-huh.
man,
So that could be a
you up
rallying
to that,
cry
brother,
for the
man.
election. Who knows? But you got one poopy
I just
pants
hope,
and
I
now
hope it doesn't.
one he pooped in his. Because to get to get that close to being hit, man, that means somebody was about to take your head off. Wait, hold up. There's a whole bunch of Big Macs came out of his ass today. Mm-mm.
I'm telling you, yeah, that's a wake up call.
Ain't
That's
it?
a real wake up call. That's
Just like that
damn.
brother in Houston, remember? They ended up
Mhm.
be being him or whatever. But for that brother, that's a hero for me too,
Yeah.
because he was like, "Oh hell no, not
Mm.
today." Remember that brother in Houston that
Mm-hmm.
pew pew that's some po.
Yeah.
You know what I
You talking
mean?
about
That's what I'm saying. They get you all scared like they all knowing and all. No, you not. Long as you breathe in the same air I breathe and poop in between two ankles like I do and we all do, ain't nobody body untouchable. That's all
mm-hmm.
I got to say. They got us so scared like the IRS. We so scared of the IRS, you won't do nothing. Please. The IRS could
Mm-hmm.
never. You know,
Mm-hmm.
as scary as they are, the IRS gonna come get you. Come on. Come on now. Give me a break. So yeah, sure did. Cheeto Leany then got clipped. The world we living in.
If it was a black man, I'm inclined to believe he missed on purpose. Or it
I
stayed
mean, it's
too
his
long.
ear though. You can't. How you going to hit his ear and it's on purpose? Like that.
Right.
That's a hard.
Yeah, he
What?
was heading, he was looking for that head, trust me.
Did they
Like,
say
Yeah.
yeah. I
Army
mean,
was
it's
black?
according to what kind of marksman he is. I mean, that's what we have to
I mean,
find out and see.
it looked like this red from like here, like this. Like I don't know if it's just blood from the ear or what,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like it's red on his cheek like this,
See?
like two streaks of red. So I don't know what that
That
means.
meant he
But
might have just moved his head, jerked it at the last second, and
yup,
that's what saved his ass. You
yup.
know, end the story. You know, or
Damn,
unless, you know, I don't know, somebody bumped into
that's
him, but who
a
knows?
that's still a wake up call though, because it's like
It is.
that, like you know what I'm saying. If you live the next day after that, you're gonna have to go unpack that. Now that's trauma. Like
Yes, it is.
yeah, that's trauma. Damn,
You
but
know
when he
somebody's
gets in
about to take
office,
you, and you Mr. Know It All and think you know it all, and think you got the complexion for the protection. Well,
but if this person was a Pan African, they're gonna use this as a, not to say that he probably would be a Pan, but I did see a video where it was a white T man with a African wife, and they were saying that Pan Africans are racist black people. And I just feel like Donald Trump could probably spin this and use it as a justification for what he does when he's in office. To say that Republicans aren't safe and that black people are dangerous and
so what?
no,
We
no, I'm
are
saying they're going
dangerous.
to do
We
it.
should be dangerous.
We should
That's
be,
what I
but
say.
they're gonna use it
Of course.
either way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of
He's
course.
just going to use it as a justification for what he's doing, regardless.
But we got
You
to
know
be
what I'm
ready, and we got to do what we got to do. See, that can
saying?
work both ways. That's the way
Hmm.
I'm looking at. Because you know, YT people, that's what they do. Can't beat you, they join you. So, of course, they're going to always spin master everything. However, that ought to let a whole lot of people know we tired.
Yeah,
And
true.
you better get your shit right because
True.
we coming.
True. That does tell the world something. A black man did that.
Yes. Yes.
That is a message to the world. That's a message to France. That's a message to everybody.
It is.
That's
And
wild.
like I said back, I gotta find that brother's name from Houston. That
Christopher Dorner. Is that what you talking about?
no,
Oh,
he was out here in California.
oh, Dorner was in California. That's
And you
right.
know they did never really find him. They try to say his body was burnt out, but a friend of mine used to date him. Okay,
Mm,
I believe he got away and went to Mexico some damn where. I really do. And they tried to spin that one too. But anytime you see, whenever we come back at them like they do us, oh my God, they can't take it. They can't take it. So like
yeah.
you said, you talking about radicalizing. This needs to be a rallying cry for us.
Yeah. You're right.
You know, to let them know, y'all don't run everything. Y'all ain't unstoppable. You know, give me a break.
Yeah. That's facts. I might make a video about it. I know somebody said Umar. Yeah, I know Umar probably gonna make a video. We should make videos about this, y'all. We should probably
Yes.
radicalize it. Yeah.
For all of y'all that think the white man is invincible and he knows all, does all, thinks all, got everything covered, no, he doesn't. Because like I said, if you breathe in the same air I'm breathing, then who are you? You can't do no more to me than I can do to you. How about that?
Right.
So you can tap phones, read people's mail, do whatever you want to do, boo boo kitty. But you cannot get in my brain. You don't never know what I'm truly thinking. You just don't.
Man.
And if that's a brother did that, I would love to find out, since we always criminals and shit to let them tell it. Well, let's see what kind of background he have. And anybody that's a marksman, I bet you he would have been in the military. How much you want to bet? Just like that brother in Houston that they ended up blowing up, unaliving. He had a military background and was a marksman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Maryland too. Maryland, right? DC.
yeah. I can't remember. Or if you're talking about the one that Cochran was working with in DC that was going around, yeah, he was military too, and in the Nation of Islam.
Damn.
See, they always try to make us think we some little radicals and we crazy and that's just a fringe little that he doesn't represent anyone. How do you know? How do we know? Because they sure ain't gonna tell you. But all of us ain't sitting around on our hands, on our thumbs, bullshitting. And that's what I always say. I know I'm gonna probably get ready to be knocked off, but I've always said, it's time. It's time for you to do what you got to do, regardless, because you in a system that is never gonna give you no peace. So take some of that training we got and use it for us, because we're gonna have to have soldiers and scholars. We've had the scholars. Now we need some more soldiers that's willing to protect what the scholars have given us.
Right.
You can't just
And
keep. Didn't I
we trying
send
to
you
love
that
them.
video, Brother Legend, of Dr. John Henry Clark when he said each generation, the freedom that we take, each generation is going to have to preserve and is going to have to fight for.
Yup.
Because we can't just give freedom like, well, okay, everything's good now. Hey, everybody. No. This is going to be a constant battle. Forever.
Well, I'll say to that brother, man. That brother was
Okay.
that's called righteous retaliation, man. I think it was
Right.
called something else, but yeah, righteous retaliation. He retaliated
Yes.
against the system, man. Woo.
Well, if we don't hear nothing about his background that much, other than that he was crazy and then you already know he was a part of something way bigger than that they would never let us know.
Yeah. Nah,
They
yeah.
say, he was just deranged, and no, y'all, everybody else that's unalive by the po-po, y'all go back to their kindergarten teacher. Well, okay, let's see if they gonna go to his kindergarten teacher. Go all the way back and see what they gonna say.
Right. Well, let's this is gonna be an interesting week of news. Let me go to the next guest, Auntie. There's some more people waiting.
Okay.
Alcohol. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Yes, sir. So, 21 years old. He have a race, so no.
What's your race?
I'm European, sir.
White European?
Yes, sir.
All right, talk to us.
No, I just wanted to let you know that I completely stand behind what you're saying. So I specifically thought that Smart Sister's opinions and her childhood stories were really moving and a really good example of why what's happening right now is clearly not right. I think it's really destructive if you have these mixed race relationships. You have these really hardworking black people that build up wealth that ends up disappearing in the pockets of white folks, and it's just a shame because you have a beautiful culture on both sides. In my opinion, at least you have facets of beautiful cultures on both sides, and that just gets lost in this, this big mixer of cultures, and it's just disappointing, really.
Okay. So you say that you have beautiful cultures on both sides, and do you feel like white culture should be preserved?
Well, I don't know if there is anything like white culture, but I think that there's culture in primarily white countries that, I mean, it's pretty nice. It's pretty good. I mean, obviously there's some historical problems, but if you look at the Swiss, for example, they didn't exploit anybody.
Yeah. Well, they still did deals with people that did. So if my friend makes money, grinding up the bones of little children, and I'm okay with buying you know things made with these bones, then does that make me complicit?
Absolutely, absolutely, it does, and I concur with you that it's not as shallow as just the people loading, for example, people on boats, for example. And if you take that example too, you can see that you had the kings of Mali who sold their fellow Africans into slavery as well. So it's I don't think it's a
Why did they
racial
do
binary
that?
necessarily, to be honest with you.
Why did they sell their what did you say they sold?
Their fellow Africans into slavery
Oh,
with the
so
Europeans
why did they sell their fellow Africans?
to get money and guns from the Europeans to capture more slaves and get more guns and money.
So did the Europeans did they go to Europe with slaves, or did the Europeans come to Africa to buy slaves?
So the Europeans sailed from Europe to Africa to get slaves there, and they sent them to North America and South America, to be more
I
complete.
see. Did the Europeans first kidnap the Africans, or did the Africans first offer to sell their fellow Africans? You say for slavery, like for ammunition. Let's not say the GUN word, but ammunition. Did they first say, hey, before you leave, we got some of our brothers and sisters that we'd love to trade with you in order to get more ammunition, or did the Europeans kidnap so many of them and then bring pew pews or ammunition and say, you can either trade some of your prisoners of war to us, or we will arm them ourselves and they will trade you to us? Which one do you think is more likely?
Well, I don't really think it's either of those two binaries. I think, as with many things in history, the truth tends to be a bit more vague and a bit more
It's
blurred.
not vague. I mean, the truth doesn't seem to be very vague in other scenarios. Would you say that World War II was Europeans, unaliving children and elders of other Europeans?
Not exclusively, but that also happened, yeah. I mean, for example,
So
my
yeah.
grandfather was in a Japanese concentration camp in Indonesia, which is an example of non-Europeans also doing terrible stuff to Europeans, as Europeans also did terrible stuff to non-Europeans.
But what happened in the Japanese concentration camps, was that because the Japanese went to Europe to get Europeans and bring them back to Japan, or did the Europeans go to Japan first?
Well, it's not necessarily the Europeans go into Japan, but the Europeans go into peripheral countries in the Asian East Asian hemisphere.
Right,
So
but so
Indonesia,
why
for
were
example,
the
was a Dutch
Europeans in
colony
Asia? Why did they leave Asia? Why did they leave Europe to go to Asia?
to set up trade networks there, primarily. But obviously also to do less than good stuff and setting up factories that
Right.
partially use
So it
slave
sounds like
labor.
they got caught on their bullshit, and they suffered the consequences of that. Because even if you go somewhere with good intentions, it doesn't mean that they have to welcome you. But back to what we were talking about originally, would
Sure.
you say that the Jewish people um, and the Germans were just Europeans oppressing other Europeans?
Well, I think that's an interesting question. Thanks for asking it. I'm not sure whether I'd describe Jewish people at large as European necessarily. Like, they're more of a Semitic people, like Arabs are, for example. So, I think
You
there's
know
a
who
sort
else
of.
made that distinction?
Sorry, what?
You know who else made that distinction?
Tell me.
Nazis.
Okay, that's okay. The distinction was already inherent there before Nazism as an ideology came around. I mean, Nazis already also
No, it
encouraged
wasn't.
vegetarianism and sports. I don't think that's
why do so many
wrong.
Jewish people have European and German and Polish last names?
Well, because they're Ashkenazim Jews. They're a subset of Jews
So
who.
they weren't Semitic.
Yeah, well, it depends. If we're talking about Jews in general, I'd say that Jews are a
We're
Semitic
not
group
talking
of
about them
people.
in general. We're talking about the ones in Germany that
Right.
did live in Germany for long enough to have the European phenotype and speak the language German and have German last names, and were just as German can get. And then they were also Europeans. They lived in Europe for thousands of years. So that being the case, would you say then that Europeans just oppressed themselves in World War II?
Well, I
Or
think
do you only see nuance when it comes to white people?
no. I think I'm gonna have to disagree with the precipice there because Jews often separated themselves from the populations at large. So you had Jewish ghettos in cities all across Central Europe, from Germany to Poland to Belarusia and so on and so forth.
That's
So
actually not
ethnically, they
true.
were distinct from.
There's meeting minutes from a schmatzy. I'm saying that because we're on TikTok.
Sure.
A schmatzy meeting where they decided that Jewish was a race because most Germans actually did not feel that Jewish people should be considered German. So because that was a popular thought during the schmatzy regime, they had a meeting where they actually said, based on the American caste system of race, they would now qualify Jewish people as inferior to Germans. This was actually well documented in this meeting where they decided they were going to do this. But again, I find it funny or interesting, rather. No, I find it telling that you'll make the distinction between the Ish people and what went on, but for some reason you feel Africans don't have this complexity in their history. Um, would you say though that there was no kidnapping of Africans to be traded as slaves before Africans decided to quote unquote sell themselves?
Well, a couple of things there. So actually, as we mentioned before, I think there is that degree of depth that is inherent to both the Jewish people and to the African people in their historic engagements with the Europeans. And to answer that second question, I'm not going to deny that there may have been kidnappings, possibly on either side. You know, you have two very different cultures meeting each other for the first time, or at
Did
least
they
not
meet each other
aware.
though, or did Europeans go there to kidnap people?
Right. What possible use for kidnapping a white person would we have?
Well, the thing is, before the triangle trade even began, the naval routes across the Western African coast were there to get to the Cape of Good Hope, now Cape Town, to then sail on to the east where the actual money was being made.
Cape Town, South
So,
Africa?
yep, that's right. So they'd sail across the continent in Africa to get to Asia, and the triangle trade only developed later when colonies in America started to get more prevalent, and slave labor had to be introduced to get the plantations running there. So the initial relationships between Europeans and Africans weren't that hostile, let's say.
That's not true.
Totally not true.
Yeah, it's all right, alcohol. We know you lying. We're gonna move on.
Okay.
All right, next X. What's going on, Poetic Logic? One thing I just want to point out real quick is that Dr. Dilly Fuller Jr. says whenever white people lie, that is a form of violence. So what y'all just witnessed by him being completely dishonest is a form of violence. Anyone lying to someone in a hostile environment is dangerous. You know, that person was obviously the descendant of one of those Aryans. And the Portuguese were actually the first people to document going to Africa. Hold on, I'm going to mute you, babyface, because you got noise. They were documented. They wrote in their journals that they were going to Africa and kidnapping people before Africans, quote unquote, sold themselves, which, by the way, is bullshit. Africans didn't see themselves as Africans, just like Jewish people and German people didn't see themselves as just Europeans, Europeanizing each other. All right, so it wasn't just, oh, we're all European, and even though you're my fellow European brother, I don't like you, so I'm going to put you in a concentration camp. No, they had separate identities. There was Ish people and Germans, and they decided that they were both separate. Well, the Germans decided that they were separate, and they, did World War II. Now, when it comes to the Africans, the Portuguese actually were kidnapping Africans by the thousands from the continent, and they actually got tired of it and found that it was easier to just convince them through arms. Either I'm going to give you this pew pew and you will sell me your prisoners of war, that, conflicts that were going on. You will either sell me them or I'll give it to them and they will sell you to me. Which one would you prefer? And when they created this fake arms race on the continent, they found that it was easier to just, quote unquote, trade for enslaved Africans instead of going to kidnap them, because that was doing too much. So that was what happened there. All
And then
right.
you got to look at culture. Like you said, prisoners of war. Our prisoners of war in Africa, you could still go to another tribe, but you had the ability to move up in the tribe, and you might end up being the chief one day. There was no sense of non-humanity within us, on how we deal with that. And can you imagine seeing a white T person getting off a boat coming in your country? They probably was running for the hills.
Right.
What the hell is this thing? You got this stick that when you point it at somebody, they drop.
Right.
We got a spear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I get so sick of them coming up with shit always. When you look at the superstitions that they use to trick people and to do whatever. And if you got this stick that works like that and I don't, come on now. And that was just a small little group of people. And the fact is, in our brain, in African warfare, that's why they wore the paint and the feathers. We was about punking you. It wasn't about just annihilating you till there was nobody left, because we understood if you do that, who's the winner? So no, you get the prisoners of war, bring them in. That makes your tribe stronger. We're not a death cult like these folks are. So their whole concept of what that was totally different. They didn't know about chattel slavery and how it worked over here. Come on now.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah, hey man, we ain't
Let's not act like their whole entire legacy wasn't exploitation. Like, never was their intentions fair trade. Their intentions was to scout you out, start trade, figure out your weaknesses, and then come in there guns blazing in their entirety. And they did it to every single country. Like, what country did they leave a good footprint in?
Hmm. Absolutely. Babyface Jay, go ahead, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please. Babyface Jay, you here? Oh, I'll try to unmute you.
Yep. You hear me, brother?
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, yep. I'm 30 years old. From East Africa. I'm from South Sudan, the youngest country in the world. And I was born in America, so I grew up with a lot of African Americans, and my best friends are African Americans. So I'm in the middle, bro. It's like I feel more like you guys than I feel like the people back home because I never been back home like you guys. I never left America, so it's difficult.
Well,
But what's the next thing you wanted me to tell or say? Age.
Race.
Yeah, race. Yeah, I'm African, but I'm born in America, so I'm pretty much American.
Race has nothing to do with your nationality. So
Yeah,
African is
and I'm South Sudan. South Sudan to the heart.
all right, and your
But I was born
pronouns.
in America though, so America.
All right.
Yeah, but
Go ahead, talk to us.
I'm over here. I read your stuff. I'm trying to be respectful. I was trying to figure out what topic what you guys are talking about. Like, is it? I was kind of confused because I was like, is this topic about interracial marriages or is it about African and African American like relations?
So yeah, we're not talking about Africa and African American. That last person came up here with pseudo history that we had to
I showed up
debunk.
late, bro. I'm literally my fault. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that last person came up here with pseudo history. They were lying to us about history, so we had to debunk that for the people that might be susceptible to misinformation
Mm.
like that. But
I'm here for
yeah,
education purposes. I just want to learn, yeah, soak it up, listen to people's other opinions, everything.
we can't hear you. You got your finger over the microphone or something?
No, can you hear me now?
Uh, Say it again.
You can't hear me at all? You can't hear
We
me?
hear you. You just muffled. Like you sound like you're underwater.
Oh fuck! All right, shit. I'm gonna let me leave the chat. I'm gonna request another one.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, these are recorded. We post them on YouTube. If you want to join, if you want to watch them, you can. We post them on YouTube. We're about like I think it's a week delay. Poetic Logic, what's going on, brother?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm well, man. Up here unpacking this mayonnaise. Another day.
Yeah, I feel you. So yeah, I've been listening in, and I gotta say it's been interesting. Watching everything and listening in. It's funny. The guest that you just had, he's kind of dealing with the whole kind of dual identity sort of deal that I brought up in our previous live.
Hmm.
Where I understand there's definitely a cultural differences that we have, but we all, like I said, we all come from the same tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So regardless of whether or not you were born in Africa or you grew up here, you're still black. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Different cultures is just different expressions of Africa. That's all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I actually wanted to share with you guys an experience, and it actually relates to your topic of our interracial marriages between white and black people ethical. So in the '90s, when I grew up, I was like 8 years old. And I went to the state fair for the first time, in the city that I lived in. And as a little kid, you wanted to enjoy the fair because that's something that everybody wanted to do. Now, little to my knowledge, that at that actual fair, the Triple K, they were doing recruiting. And my mom, she had the foresight to get us out of there as soon as possible before something would happen. Now, I can't speak for like anybody in an interracial relationship on whether or not how they would have responded, but this is why you got to respect the black woman. Always protecting her children.
Hmm.
So Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Big up to the sisters, man.
But
But
it
yeah,
really does
yeah.
kind of show that, like, we really haven't gone that far as from that time, because that was the 90s up to this point. What sort of progress has been made other than the superficial, things in which they say, like, it's just like how, okay, when it comes to showing us in media and representation, while that might be good, what does it actually get us other than, a superficial change as far as like saying, hey, well, you got your reparation, star on the board, but what does it actually get us? Like, what did we actually accomplish from that? You know what I mean?
Hmm. They're not going to give us real reparations. They're not even talking about real reparations. They're talking about little payouts. Like that's going to fix anything. You're right. Like that. Pay. How you going to pay reparations in the form of dollars with slave owners on them? How you going to pay reparations for slavery with dollars that have slave owners' faces still on them? Like that's not reparations. That's just concessions. That's just a little way of telling us to calm down and don't get too radical.
Absolutely. And this is why, like, they uh they champion people which who are, actors, singers, rappers, all these things. They champion that because it creates the illusion of equality. It creates the illusion that, oh, there's no more racism because they made it. It's
Right.
easier to pay an actor, especially until that actor becomes non-relevant or a rapper becomes non-relevant, because they're worried about their own survival. They're not really focused on, making things better for other people. And I am kind of speaking to the elitist black people that are kind of out there doing their own thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me give someone else a chance to talk, man. Appreciate you.
All right, I'm going to be on the B1 initiative, doing a lot of reading. So
Oh
I'll see
yeah,
you
we
when
got
I
our
see you.
meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow too. 2 Central,
All
3.
right, I'll be there.
All right. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, man.
Black Power. Black Babyface. Go ahead. Talk to us.
Hear me now? Can you hear me,
It's
bro?
a lot of noise. I'm not sure. It's like a tapping sound.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is. I feel like it's the wind. I'm in Washington. I'm in Seattle, so the wind's out here.
Oh, I see. All right. Just come back up
Like, damn,
another time, bro.
if it sounds bad, bro, I just be in the comments, bro. I just talk to you another time if it's that bad.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Yep, I got you, bro. Bye.
Yeah, it's bad. Ghost. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Yeah, I'm 19, black African from Angola, and I'm a male.
All right. Talk to us.
Speaking on what you guys were just saying about reparations, especially for, like, obviously I'm not American, I'm from the UK, right? I grew up in the UK. I'm Angolan, if you guys know what that is. But
Yeah.
speaking about American reparations specifically, how can reparations happen when there are still currently slave labor camps called quote unquote prisons? Even Angola prison, which I found out recently, which that it said me crazy, like it went from a plantation to a prison. That and even what the Clintons took prisoners as free labor to work in their houses.
Mm.
This is crazy to me. Like, this stuff is
Never
crazy.
heard that one.
Yeah, this is real stuff. Hillary Clinton had slaves. They call them. I don't know what they called it. They tried to call it, but it's slaves. They're prisoners that were working for free in their mansion, right? That's the kind of stuff that's happening in America, and also even forgetting what's happening in America, what they're doing abroad. America's history of international intervention is by far the worst of all time. By far, like they're the most evil country. That if God hates a country the most, it's America. Like this is not even radical to say. This is just the truth of it. Like we've never seen colonialism hidden so well from it. Even the people that live in the country, they don't know what America does. They don't know what the CIA does in other countries.
Well, yeah. How do you feel about interracial relationships between black and white people? Being a brother from Angola.
In fact, in Angola, it's actually kind of a problem. But I would
Some
say
mulattoes.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but in America specifically, actually, it actually ends up taking wealth from the black community and transferring it right into the hands of the white community. Because what happens is black people that end up controlling more capital, they usually tend to date outside of their race. And then they have biracial children, and then their biracial children who live higher standards of living end up dating white people, and they just end up having white children, and the black gets breeded
In
out.
Angola?
No, I'm talking about America, but even in Angola, it's a similar situation, right?
It's always the same. Like I don't know why we make
Yeah.
it about America. Racism, white supremacy has the
No,
same goal of white self-preservation worldwide. Like they're trying to keep themselves pure from people that have melanin. They see that as something that's dehuman, like unhuman. So
And it's
even like as a person from Angola, I would assume you'd be against it, knowing about the history of how assimilados were weaponized against the Africans there.
no, I'm definitely against it. I'm definitely against it, right? I'm definitely against it.
But
But when I say against it, though, really to me, it depends on this. If it's a poor white, like in Brazil, it happens a lot, right? But it's kind of a different situation because you've got a lot of poor, like white people, not white people, but very light skinned people living in the favelas alongside the black people. And I don't think that's the same situation. When it happens in the terms of black people moving up the hierarchy financially and then dating within their financial sector, which usually ends up not being their race, is taking the capital straight from the hands of the black people, straight from the black community into the white community. They do that a lot in a lot of countries. So yeah, even my
well,
country, yeah.
economic, what we're talking about is ethics. So we're talking about, can people that were kidnapped from their land, here in the West, that's the context in which we look at race, for people from the continent of Africa, can people that divided up your country and used you for resources and continue to exploit and continue to, how they indoctrinated the people of Angola to speaking a European language, like that's a consequence of violence that was done to African people. Like, can this violence still exist and people be in a relationship with the perpetuator of this violence, and it's completely ethical? There's no moral question of, well, this person has more of an ability to do harm to this other person that they've, discriminated and dehumanized for so long. Like it just raises so many ethical questions.
And to be honest, brother, I would agree with you in that situation. I do think, yeah, I would, but one of the reason why I was specifically talking economics as well is because I think that everything for these people, like even white supremacy was a dirty lie that they convinced themselves to allow themselves to colonize and obviously do whatever they were going to do in our countries, but it's not even something they really believe, or now they have because it's been indoctrinated. Now they do because it's been like indoctrinated into them, right? But the original slave, they didn't believe these things. This is a lie they told themselves to be allowed to take our resources, to take our lands, to take our without having to, do you get it? Without having to like feel bad about it, because we're not human. We're less than human to them, right? Even though that's obviously just not the case. But now, the way it forms its head is in the way they suppress us economically. The white family in, I'm gonna say America because I know the statistic off my head, but I guarantee it's the UK. I guarantee it's everywhere. But in America specifically, I heard the average white family has 6 times the wealth of the average black family, right? And this
Not in
is
America. In America, it's 15 times.
15 times. What? I didn't even know that. 15 times. That's even worse than I thought. And in the society we live in right now, money runs the world. Like money. You cannot live with. If you don't have money, you're homeless. You have no food. You're less than. Homeless people are seen as less than in society, right? Especially in America, the way they view homeless people is crazy to me. But either way, now what they do is they can, if black people start to gain money, it's very easy. They just what's it called? They end up marrying a white person, and after generations, that black person is gone. The family is gone. Even these basketball players, right? And they have their white wives. I would never agree with that. I think if you're a basketball player, a black person, right, you should show off a black woman proudly and beautifully, right? But
But you gotta understand, them basketball players have chose slavery.
yeah, they have.
It's mostly black men playing basketball and mostly white owners.
They
There's
chose the
just
Colosseum.
right, exactly, right.
Yeah, they chose love.
And it's another thing too that goes back to ancient Rome, where the wealthy daughters of some of the senators would actually go and pick their favorite uh, gladiator, and as a form of way of getting them liberated from having to play in the Colosseum, they would say that they love them and go and marry them. It was a practice where the woman would have more control over the life of the formerly enslaved. So it's just a tradition that has always been in part of the West. And when we talk about basketball players, they've already chose to be compromised, and they have to align themselves in some way to the people group that pays them. So that's something that happens.
True, I never even thought about
Stop
it that
unmuting
way.
your mic.
All right. Well, thanks for coming up, bro. We're gonna go to the next guest. T Edits TV. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
23. I am
I'm sorry, my wife just decided to make a lot of noise. Could you say that again? Your age, race, and pronouns.
23. And what was the last one? I mean, what was the other one? Race? American Indian. And I just came on here to say that I'm not even gonna lie.
What's good, brother Timothy? What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on, family? I just made it to my family's place, so I am in a much better mood, tearing up all the food. But yeah, how you doing, brother?
I'm well, man. Just been a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Somebody said, "Wait, isn't this what people fought for? To be able to love who they want?" I'm not being mean. I don't know. When did people fight for it? When did people fight for interracial marriage? Who fought? What was the name of the movement? What was the name of the protest? What was the name who fought for this? Who fought
Oh,
for
didn't
interracial marriage?
didn't you hear that was the interracial civil conflict of 1875? That was yeah. That's,
Yes. Oh, that's right. That's right, brother Timothy. The big swirler convention of 1875 and June 19th. Oh no, that's messed up. June 19th. That's messed up. My bad. Ancestors mad at me for that. I'm sorry, ancestors. I didn't mean to say that.
All good.
I tried to choose a random date. I chose the worst date. But yeah, okay. So yeah, I'm in trouble with the ancestors now. I done played around with their name. Well, anybody else want to come up, send a request? I'm about to close it out soon if we don't get nobody. It was kind of a weird live. I'm gonna be honest. This live was kind of weird. Um, the ops weren't really opping too much. I didn't have the patience at first. I didn't even know if I wanted to go live, but I've been doing it every day because I'm getting the daily ranking up. If y'all notice, my ranking I think is B2. I think it's B2. So I'm trying to get the daily ranking up. But yeah, so this interracial marriages being an ethical thing is something that I think we've unpacked a lot. Every time I start the live, we get a different conversation. Today, we kicked you off, T. Edis, because you don't know what race you are. You said you was Native Indian or something. Would you say What'd you say you was?
Wait, so you kicked me off for that?
What'd you say? What race you say you are?
No, but did you kick me off for that?
Kicked you off for what? I'm trying to clarify. What race did you say you was?
It don't matter, but you kicked me off for that.
Yes. Like, if you don't know.
Why are you answering her, Timothy? You can't tell me I'm not intentionally giving her ground.
I just really want to come
Tell
on
us
here
what
to
your
say
race
what I
is.
want to say about interracial.
I want to know what your race is.
No, because you're going to kick me off again.
No, I'm not.
I'm African American.
That's better.
All
I'm
right.
African American. And here we go.
That still ain't a race. That's an ethnicity. But we gonna let it slide.
Anyway, I want to get on here and say about interracial that I'm not gonna lie, that they had to fight to even be, like, our ancestors had to fight to even be interracial with them. But I feel like
That's a
when they
lie.
marry off to
That's
when
a
they
straight
marry
up
off to
lie.
them.
That's a
That's
straight
a
up lie.
straight lie.
That's a lie. And Auntie was smart sister would have been the most knowledgeable on this panel to know that that's a lie. So please don't even come up here lying.
Did you not listen to her smart sister speak? Were you in the comments listening?
No,
I mean,
I
I'm
was
sorry to
gone for a
interrupt y'all,
minute.
but
No, she's not talking to you, Yvette. She's talking to
no, I'm
her.
talking to T Edits. Were you not listening to what smart sister said? Because if you had, you would not have just said what you just said and said it with your full chest. I mean,
We have not fought to be with them.
y'all testing people. Y'all testing people patience today with
Men
this.
fall in love with them.
When did we fight for this? Because I don't recall my ancestors fighting at all to be with any YT person. Just because they might be unconveniently involved in my family, nobody fought for them to be there. They fought. The PDF YT men fought to get hold of our bodies. When did we, as Black people, fight to get with them? Please explain that to me, because
I'm
I
not
would
saying
love to
that
know.
we as a group fought with them, but I'm saying that you will have some Black people who fell in
When?
love with a YT person. I'm not, and it was,
Stockholm syndrome.
and we have people telling them like, no, that's not right. But
Stockholm syndrome.
they okay, yeah, they will fall in love with them. But what I'm saying is, yeah, that's not. I don't feel like that's right, because when they fell in love with them, they married. They married off to them and woo this, woo that. And I'm not saying that all of them fell in love with them, because like you said, some of them was enslaved to
Love
fall in
don't
love
make
with them.
something ethical.
But what I'm
Edit,
saying is,
you have to
I
say
just want to
something
get this
hateful,
point across.
hun.
I just want to get this point across. When they
They're
made
not gonna
babies
care
with
about that.
when they made babies with our babies, and they married off to other white people, now they got our name and they took our land. That's how it was.
That's a good one.
That's all I was just trying to get
Can,
point. That's all I was just
can
trying to
y'all
say.
explain Stockholm to her? Because I don't think she really knows
I
what
don't think
Stockholm
she even know
syndrome
what
is.
what is Stockholm syndrome, T. Edits?
You can explain it. I don't have the knowledge of it.
You want to go, Stella?
That is falling in love with my oppressor, basically. I'm gonna break it down in layman's terms. Layman's terms is if you beat my ASS enough and keep me locked up enough and give me just enough food to survive, and you come in and you grape me whenever you feel like it and tell me, yeah, I love you, and all that stuff over and over again. Eventually, at some point, if it happens long enough, I'm probably gonna buy into it, and I'll sit there and be like, yeah, my oppressor loves me, my master loves me. He come in here, give me enough food so I can live. He come in here and he lay with me. He treat me right. I know it's dark in this room, and he don't always come in here, but sometimes he do. And Master love me when he come in this room. That's Stockholm syndrome. That's me being a very sarcastic, very layman's term of it. I mean, it's very technical terms for it, but I don't feel like it today. I'm sorry.
Right.
Miss
No,
Stella, I
that's
have a
it.
question.
No, stop. No. You come next. We get to be in a moment. Yeah, this. Do you understand what Stockholm syndrome is?
Yeah.
If I kidnap a woman and tie her up in my bathroom and only give her enough to survive, but keep her tied up and don't fix the conditions in which she is living, then one day that woman turns to me and says, I love you. Is that relationship ethical?
No.
Okay, so black people are still going through the same things that they went through when they was brought here against their will to this country. And to this day, white people have not shown us that they're willing to help us in economics. They haven't shown us that they're willing to, interracially pass some of the money around in economics. They're not willing to be interracial in education and make sure that we have access to proper education. They're not willing to be interracial with how we're represented on TV and letting us have the full representation of all our black experience and only paint us in a certain light and still control all the media companies that even have black TV shows. They haven't shown us that they're willing to be interracial with uh, politics, labor, law, religion, war, or health. But for some reason, they're more than willing, without us putting up a fight, without anyone getting hosed down in the street, without dogs being sicked on us. Like when we wanted to be free, they sick dogs on us. When we wanted to sit at the same countertops as them, they sick dogs on us. They hosed our ancestors down. They did all this other stuff fighting and all these other areas of people activity. But for some reason, when it got to love, they were more than willing to say, you know what, we would love to continue to have access to your bodies, even though we're not going to free you, we're not going to help you fix none of that other stuff. You still speak our language that we forced you to learn. You still in the land that we brought you to. We're not going to make sure that you have a way to get back to Africa. We're not going to fix nothing. But we are more than willing to, after 339 years of graping y'all mothers, we are more than willing when a 17-year-old woman, I'm sorry, a 17-year-old white man wanted to be in a marriage with an 11-year-old black woman, they were more than willing to pass a law in the Supreme Court to say that it was legal for them to be together because that white man wanted access to that black woman's body, and they are more than willing to offer that to us interracially. So
And you
they won't free us, but they'll fuck us, and we sitting here talking about, we can have love and oppression at the same time.
we can't even wear our hair the way we want to wear our hair at a workplace, and you talking about somebody loving somebody of another race. Come talk to me when I can go and wear my hair however the heck I feel like wearing it, wherever I feel like wearing it. Talk to me then. When I can go and not worry about when I see a police car pulling up beside me or behind me or my young son, talk to me then. When I can go somewhere and not be profiled, Talk to me then. When I can go in a store and not be followed around thinking I'm gonna steal something when I got enough money to probably than what the person who's following me got. Talk to me then about some love of, oh, love is love, and oh, we can all be together, kumbaya, and I want to be with Bob and his little white weenie beanie. No, come talk to me then. When we can go and have no problems at all, that's when we can start talking about, oh, I can love this person unconditionally. I can be with that person unconditionally. Until we get justice, there can be no love. That's simple. And I don't know why it's so hard to understand. And I'm not trying to be mean to you because you're young. You haven't experienced life. I mean, I'm having this conversation with my own children. So, please educate
Oh,
me
I'm not in
more.
love with no UT
Oh
people. I
no,
was just
I'm
trying
not
to.
saying that you
But thank you
are,
for
but I'm
educating
just
me.
saying. I'm just saying. This is in general to everybody. Like, we got to do better by educating ourselves on what we actually have asked for, what we have fought for, versus what we have been given because it is we are given what benefits them. If it benefits them, then they will give it to us. If it doesn't, we ain't getting it. Plain and simple. And that's that. And I'm gonna land my plane. Let me be quiet.
Appreciate you, Auntie. Thank you for handling that. All right, we're gonna go to the next guest. Jessica, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm African American, 27, and sheer. I forgot
All
the
right.
pronouns for the my bad.
All right, talk to us.
So I see that you love black women. I see Miss Stella, you love black women edits. All you guys love black women. So I do have one question for y'all, because I'm on TikTok, I'm on Bigo, I'm on Clubhouse. I hear it and I see it on panels each and every day. Where are y'all when Black Guru go live and talk how black women eat? They need to stop going to school. They need to stop going. They need to bow down. They need to stop wearing weave in their hair. They need to stop being baby mamas. All black women are baby mamas. All black
Why
women
you
need to,
trying to come in
like,
here with this
no,
divisiveness?
no, no, no,
No,
this
why
is
you
a
trying
good
to come
one.
in here with that
No,
divisiveness?
no,
I
no.
will, no, ma'am.
We
You
ain't
will
doing
not
that.
come in this room with that divisiveness,
Well,
trying to
like,
divide our
why
people.
we supposed to be in with someone else's? We in, you know where we at? You know where we at? We in B1 Initiative creating resources for black people. That's where we at. That's
We
where
trying to
Stella is
work
at.
on
That's where
our
Smart Sister is
future.
at. That's where Black Facts Matter is at. That's where most of the people in these comments is at. We building for black people. We ain't worried about going in someone else's live and trying to argue with them about black women and all this other. No, you know what we are? We with black women building resources for black women to be safe and protected. That's where we at.
Thank you.
Get out of here.
This is not that divisive. Oh, I hate black men. I hate black women. Thrive. Go on over there to the racist TikTok with that junk. I mean, sorry, the racist TikTok with that junk, because that's not
Man,
us.
look at her. Black men don't like black women anymore. Man, listen, man.
Black men love black women, and black women
Heal.
love black men.
HEAL, Jessica. Jessica Love needs some love. Go
Mhm.
here.
Wrong lie. Girl, bye.
That makes zero sense. Like, oh well, why don't you all show up at this particular live that I frequent all the time? And like, okay, first and foremost, why would people who are unapologetically trying to educate people on the unification and the love that needs to be expressed between black men and black women and the black family, why would we go to a space that preaches the opposite of that? Why would we? And at the same time, if that person were to say, for example, come into this space and try to speak openly against what it is that we're talking about, we would have zero problems with letting them know just how ridiculous of a
Right.
point that they're trying to make. We'd have no problem with that. But
Yeah.
again,
Nah, yeah. My entire social media persona was created to bring black people together again. I wanted to bring us together again. That's the number one purpose of my social media. The B1 Initiative has its mission statement, which is rooted in that as well. However, it also has more laid out plans for how we're going to go about that. But my content, everything, all of that has always been about bringing black men and black women together. I'm not going on someone's live because they have a self-hatred that tells them that they need to perpetuate stereotypes about black women, and then I'm gonna go up there and try to defend black women from someone who black women need to stay away from this person. If they talking like that, why are you in his live in the first place? You should just keep it pushing. Like, what's the point of that? We building. We not on TikTok. We not on social media. We building. We up here to get y'all to come and build with us. But you too busy in they spaces arguing with them about nonsense. We actually built. That's the funny. It's the wrong live. Like y'all said, man. Big up to everybody that's protecting the live. This ain't that
That's Secret
space.
Service.
I don't know what that's talking about. Kerf, give us your age, race, and pronouns. I'm telling y'all, if I didn't have the good sisters around me that I have, man, I'm telling y'all, like that whole gender wars type of toxic stuff, they would have tried to come at me already if I didn't surround myself with sisters when I first started this platform. Cause I started on the Black Woman Follow train a few years ago, and that like I started to see the sisters, you know, that was really like about something, and kind of like started to surround myself with them.
Yeah, I hope my buddy Trump's all right, man.
Oh gosh, he's
Man,
just jumping up.
get this honky on my live, man. But anyway, yeah, man. Like I think black women have protected my platform. I just want to give y'all them flowers because if it wasn't for y'all, it's real easy to paint a black man as a misogynist. It's real easy to paint a black man as, you know, someone that's, you know, hasn't done like. It's just real easy to vilify us because everyone believes it. White women believe it. White men believe it. Asian women believe it. Asian men will believe it. Indigenous, whatever it is. If all the black woman has to do is point at a black man and say, he's bad, and everyone believes it. So it's like, it's hard to beat those allegations. And I've been fortunate enough to be on code enough with sisters that they've seen the value, they've seen where my heart is, and I still understand that I'm a man. So, you know, like even when I've been held accountable, I've been able to talk to a sister that actually came from a place of love and not a place of like trying to, you know, punish or you know what I'm saying, like try to be harmful, but actually it came from someone that I already respected. So big up to them, you know, them sisters that's been on my platform for a minute. Margaret, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please? Oops, she dropped. All right. Well, I think I don't know. We get in the bottom of the barrel. Honkies want to come up here. I don't know what's going on, but I've been up here for 5 hours. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining the live today. I'm gonna talk to y'all tomorrow. I don't know what time. Oh yeah, tomorrow we got our meeting. So tomorrow we gonna have our meeting. Don't forget to sign the code of conduct if you haven't already. Most of y'all have. But yeah, we gonna organize. We gonna talk about some interesting topics tomorrow. I got some updates for y'all and stuff. Yeah, we seen Antigua. They missed. They missed, man.
Literally a staged thing. You know, like it was staged. Like you mean to tell me Secret Service?
I don't know, man. I want to believe staged, but I'm not so quick to say all that, bro. We need proof before we make statements like that because it's how do you stage the ear? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. But unless you're saying he had a ketchup packet in his hand, either way.
So think he must have had some hot sauce packets or something like that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure, but we need proof before we make those claims. You know, we do we do need to, have proof because people there's a lot of weight to our words, especially on the platform. So we'll see. But hey man, appreciate y'all. Black love for black people, black laws for black liberation for all black people everywhere. Free Haiti, free Sudan, free the Congo, free Libya, free South Africa, free all black people everywhere. Free us here in America, free us in Brazil. You know what I'm saying? Free us in the Dominican Republic, free us in Cuba. Love for all of y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow. Ubuntu, Uhuru, Ujama, Ujima, Kujichakulia, self-determination. Y'all know what I'm talking about? All right. My name is Brother Legend. I'm here to raise your consciousness as always. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Black Power.